hours of our show broken down into a single half-hour little nugget for you. So what's up first?
All right, here's what we got. The growing concerns over the rapid spread of the Delta variant that's causing COVID cases to rise around the country. It's all prompting new debate over new vaccine and mask mandates.
Then we're going to talk to Sue Bird, the 2 Olympic athletes just revealed as Team USA's flag bearers at the opening ceremony.
Plus, I have an exclusive conversation with a special group of women who just made history in Major League Baseball.
And the incredible transformation that you will have to see to believe. We're going to talk to the trainer behind that viral video on how she did it and her advice for others.
And if you're feeling hungry, you're going to want to tune in for this one. Award-winning chef Marcus Samuelsson. He'll join us for some delicious fish recipes.
It's a lot. We got a lot that we squeeze into 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Should we get started?
Let's do it. It's time for Today in 30.
We are going to begin, guys, with those new warnings, the new warnings about COVID and the highly contagious Delta variant. On Wednesday, the nation's top health officials testified before Congress, and things did get heated at times. This as confusion grows over new vaccine and mask mandates. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in New York's Times Square with the very latest. Hey, Gabe, good morning.
Hoda, good morning. Here in New York City, the mayor is expected to announce today that all employees at city-run hospitals must be vaccinated or get weekly COVID tests. Now, this all comes as the CDC is revealing troubling new numbers about the Delta variant, and that is prompting new health measures across the country.
This morning, the CDC is sounding the alarm about the highly contagious Delta variant, saying it now accounts for 83% of new COVID infections nationwide.
In some parts of the country, the percentage is even higher, particularly in areas of low vaccination rates.
The nation's top pandemic officials testifying on Capitol Hill Tuesday with some heated exchanges.
Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly, and I want to say that officially.
Also in Washington, a fully vaccinated White House staffer and an aide to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi testing positive for the virus. This as confusion and anger grow over new mandates requiring masks and vaccines. Today, the mayor of New York City will announce that all city employees at city-run hospitals must get vaccinated or submit to weekly COVID testing. It joins San Francisco, which mandated vaccines for all city employees last month. A growing number of school districts will require masks this fall after the American Academy of Pediatrics recommended students wear them in school, even if vaccinated, creating an uproar among some parents.
We were under the impression with a vaccine, you would no longer have to be wearing your mask.
The problem is schools can't tell who's vaccinated and who's not, and that's why they're putting in these policies.
These new rules prompted by alarming virus spread, the country averaging more than 1,000 new infections every hour. In 22 states, cases have skyrocketed more than 100% in the last 2 weeks. In 9 states, deaths have surged 80% or more. In southern states like Louisiana, only 36% of the population is fully vaccinated. John Bartucci is finally getting the shot he put off for months.
What was kind of holding you back before?
Honestly, I just didn't see the need for it. You know, I just thought, well, I'm young and healthy.
But some are pushing back against the new mandates. 9 states have already barred public schools from requiring students to be vaccinated.
To force kids to wear masks or to be vaccinated against their parents' wishes, I don't know. I don't think we should be doing that as a government.
48 hours from now, the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games will be underway.
We are pumped, man. Earlier we revealed actually the 2 athletes chosen as flag bearers for Team USA, and here they are. Eddie Alvarez, he earned a silver medal in Sochi as a speed skater. By the way, he also happens to be a baseball player. He is competing for Team USA. We actually wanted to interview Eddie on our show, but as we speak, he is flying to Tokyo. But here's what happened when he found out.
Eddie, come on up here, man. You are our official flag bearer of the United States of America, kid. Hey! Let's go, kid.
It means everything to me. To be able to lead Team USA is an absolute honor. There's a lot of sacrifice I've had to make in this life, my athletic career. So, just absolutely incredibly honored, and what a privilege.
Wow.
And you feel the pride there.
Yeah.
Feel the emotion. What a moment for Eddie. And the other flag bearer, none other than legendary basketball star Sue Bird, a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. She's competing in her 5th Olympic Games. Sue got the news just a few hours ago.
I'd like to announce that Sue will be the flag bearer for Team USA.
Oh,
and there Sue! She is. Sue Bird with us this morning from Good morning.
Good morning.
You mean good evening?
That's true. Good evening. That's a good point. Here's the thing, Sue. I mean, this isn't an honor that's handed out by some committee. This is something that's voted on by your fellow Team USA athletes. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think that's the best part, to be honest, to have your peers be the one to kind of see your career and pick you to be the one to lead us in. And people always ask me what my favorite Olympic moment is, and it's always been that in 2004, my teammate at the time, who's now my coach, Dawn Staley, she was selected as the flag bearer.
Oh, that's right.
And we got to be in the front with her. And that's always been my favorite moment, outside of winning, obviously. So to actually be named that now is mind-blowing.
Sue, we are so pumped for you. What an honor. And usually when someone hears good news, they make a first phone call. They have to call somebody to say, oh my God, guess what? It's me. I know someone who you love and adore. She's a fellow Olympian, a fellow gold medalist, and she also, happens to be your fiancée, Megan Rapinoe. And did you get a chance to tell her? I know she's been playing, but have you had a chance to tell her what happened?
I have. When I was first told, everybody was sleeping. I tried to text. They were all sleeping. I didn't catch them. So I did text Megan right away. As you said, she was getting ready for a game, but I was able to share the news. She already knew. She already knew.
Of course she did.
Like, how did you know?
Well, because it had to be you. That's why.
I wish that was the answer.
Sue, you're on the verge of making history once again. There's never been a basketball player, male or female, to win 5 gold medals. What would that 5th gold medal mean to you?
I mean, it would mean everything. But I have to say, I'd be remiss not to bring up Diana Taurasi. We saw in the video, she was able to share the news with me. She's also here for a 5th time, also going for a 5th gold medal. You know, USA basketball has been so dominant, but to be able to do it with my best friend, Dee, and, even though I'm going to be the one holding that flag, she's with me, right next to me, as always. You know, we've done this together. So that's what actually makes this 5th gold medal that much more special.
And just quickly,
hopefully,
yeah, well, of course it will. Sue, just before we let you go, we know a lot of folks there. COVID is a big story there. We've watched some of your fellow athletes come down with it and have to isolate. What's the feeling among your basketball team, and how are you dealing with it?
We take the protocols really seriously. We're not staying in the village, so it is a little bit of a different experience for us. We're in a hotel. We can't really leave. We like to think that our Wubble season last year prepared us, but this might even be worse. We really just can't leave the hotel. We're here for one reason. It's to play basketball. Hopefully we can find some time to maybe play Phase 10 or Uno, something like that to keep things fresh. But otherwise, I think we're just trying to be as safe as possible like everybody else.
Hey, Sue, we love you. We're so happy it's you, and we can't wait to see you in Tokyo.
It has
Thank
so
you.
well deserved.
So well deserved.
Yes.
It had to be Sue.
It had to be.
Thanks for staying up.
Wandered around.
That's a long day.
That's Roker
Gets
singing.
the rebound.
That's Roker.
It had to be Sue.
She likes it.
She's slamming and done.
Come on now.
She ain't nobody's
I'm working on that
fun.
next time. I'll get there.
It had to be Sue. It had to be Sue. Wonderful Sue.
Wow.
Love you, Sue.
That might be the highlight now. That might be the highlight.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh, it could be, yeah. Go get him, Sue.
Thank you for having me on.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Our weekly
week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Good evening tonight from Geneva, just hours away from his historic summit. Over 16,000 unaccompanied children tonight in custody. What's victory look like in this, or what does improvement look like? It's going to be a challenge to meet that 70% goal. Why is it so challenging?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Hoda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you.
Meaning to the expression, rise and shine.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Back now with the 5 women who just last night made Major League Baseball history. Sarah Langs, Heidi Watney, and Lauren Gardner are here with me in studio. Melanie Newman and Alana Rizzo, they're with us too. First of all, gang, it's so good to see you together. I'm so proud of you, what you did last night. Heidi, did y'all have any pregame discussion? Did you put the hands in and say, okay, ladies? What did y'all say before you started?
This was getting so much attention from so many people that it surprised all of us, because this is our job. This is what we do. And I think because we were getting so much attention and pulled in so many different directions before the broadcast, I sent a little text out to everyone and said, just remember, you're here because you love the game. And that's what fans want to see, the joy you have for the sport that they love.
Wow. Melanie, you did it. I just wonder if you've had a minute to sit with it. It was an historical night. It was something that people are going to remember. Now that you've had a moment to reflect, what is going through you?
Well, Hoda, full transparency, a lot of coffee is going through me right now. I had to get back to Baltimore because we have game 3 at noon today. So I got back in around 3:30. We're up getting to talk to you, and then literally as soon as we finish this, I'll take off for the park and get on the headset for that. So I think after the final out today, I might finally get some time to really digest it and look back at it. I got to have a late night call with my dad, and he got to talk about it because he was playing it while he was at work. And was just reflecting really on the journey that they've watched me go through from the minor leagues to this point. So hasn't fully hit yet, but I'm excited to be able to look back at it.
Alana, when Savannah and I co-anchored together, they made a big deal of it being the first all-women team. They were like, oh my gosh, it's an all-women team. And I remember thinking, well, we would have worked together. It would have fit because we fit like puzzle pieces, whether we were a man or a woman or green or red or white. It didn't really even matter. But one thing did matter, and that showed little girls that it's possible. That it is possible and it's normal. Did that thought occur to you when you were out there?
Well, Hoda, first of all, thanks for being with us today. It's such an honor to be with you. And you know what it's like to have to break barriers and pave the way as well. So you can certainly relate to the story. And I think that it's so important for us to recognize the moment of we have an important job to do, and we have an opportunity to be able to open some doors for some young women that may not have realized that this was, in fact, a career path and a choice that they could do. I didn't grow up doing play-by-play or you know, talking about games in the mirror and listening to myself. I got into this game very late at 28 years old when I went back to school to get a master's in journalism. So it is never too late to follow your dream. And if we can impress on one young woman, or to Lauren's point, one young man, that there's an opportunity out there, then I think we've done our job. But at the end of the day, the 5 of us collectively have earned this right. We have the resumes to be there. And at some point, we need to take gender out of the equation and just say, you know what, this is a quality broadcast team, not a quality female broadcast team.
Go, go, go. That was awesome. Lauren, who told you that you were good? Who did you look at and say, I want to be like that person? Was there somebody when you were just starting out who gave you the confidence and courage?
You know, and Alana and I were talking about this, and all of us, we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the men who empowered us.
Yeah.
and supported us along the way, whether they were in positions of power or they were fellow colleagues. And we kind of called them like our guardian angels. And I was always making sure that I would pass that along and pay it forward. But it was a lot of those people, and I'll never forget, I had a boss in my previous job who, you know, for so long I had been painted into that corner, and we've all discussed this of being a reporter, because that's the only place for a woman in this industry. And he said, no, you're going to be hosting the post games and intermissions for the Colorado Avalanche, which is a hockey team. And, you know, at first I was like, I don't know if I can do this because I haven't seen it that often. And then they put me in that position, and you just kind of relax and you do it and you get into the flow because you're just doing what you love. And that was so empowering.
Sarah, you do the color commentary. That's a big job. And I know that it was a big deal for you, but it was also a big deal for your mom. For your mom to see you last night. Tell me what that meant to her.
Absolutely. My mother, my parents are both huge sports fans. I grew up just watching sports. That's really all I watched. And my mother, growing up, wanted to be the next Lon Simmons or Russ Hodges. Those are two legendary Giants and announcers, excuse me. She's a San Francisco Giants fan. And she wanted to do that, but at the time when she was young, that was not really a realistic career path. And I didn't actually know this until a couple years ago, but it turns out I'm living out her dream. And I didn't really know that when I was really starting to go down this path.
So you didn't know that that's something that she wanted. What'd she say to you after the broadcast?
Oh my gosh, she was just so excited. She said we all did such a great job, and she loves baseball. So any game is amazing, but from us, it was outstanding.
And Heidi, you got two little ones. I mean, do they realize what mom did last night? Do they have any idea what went down?
Well, the baby is about 7 months old. And my 3-year-old, I was playing an interview for the nightly news with Lester Holt that we did prior to the game. And he's like, Mommy! So they don't quite get, you know, the gravity of the situation. But I feel proud that I did this, and I hope someday they look and say, wow, Mommy was a part of that. That is really cool and something to just be proud of.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Oda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you. Cheers. We've been watching Chanel bust a move all morning.
New meaning to the expression rise and shine.
Jenna, nearly 2 miles in the air.
Your Gampy would be so proud.
Oh, thank you, Al. It has been a long year.
Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for? Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
What should we watch for to find out whether this Geneva summit was worth it? What would it take for you to support this bipartisan infrastructure deal? What are the issues that the party stands for? That seems to be the missing piece here. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Hey, Today in 30, my name is Lucy Bergen. I'll be on the show shortly, but before I am, I wanted to share something with you from my morning routine. Every morning I wake up and I come to my journal and I write out a list of things that I am grateful for. I like getting in a mindset of being motivational, grateful, and overall just positive. And I think coming to my journal and just getting my thoughts emptied onto a page is super helpful for me.
This morning on Take It Off Today, an incredible transformation on TikTok. Her weight loss video went viral with 12 million views. Take a look at this.
Yeah, it was last November when certified fitness trainer Lucy Bergen started recording her weight loss journey, taking a daily image of herself wearing the same outfit, and she did it in an effort to inspire herself to get healthy. She did it for 6 months and lost a total of 35 pounds, and then, well, she posted it to TikTok, and the rest is digital history. Lucy Bergen joins us now from Tampa, Florida. Lucy, what a cool idea. And now, here we are, some 12 million views later, and you were showing up on good days, on bad days. What were you telling yourself when you were looking in the mirror, taking those pictures, taking those videos?
What was I telling myself? I just kept telling myself that it wasn't a short-term goal. It wasn't a diet. It was a lifestyle change. And that's what's so important. And I love this video because it shows my bad days. It shows the days that I was bloating, or you can even see in my face if I had a rough day. And that's what life is. It's not about going on a diet and trying to lose 20 pounds in a week. It's not about the weight. It's about your mental health. And you can see in this video also, it's little changes at a time. I didn't even notice my transformation until I put everything together.
I bet. So this all started, for so many people gaining weight during COVID, putting on a few extra pounds, and then over 6 months you lost 35 pounds. So how did you do it? What were your tips, and what advice do you have for others trying to lose some weight?
All right, so my biggest piece of advice would be to get a friend or someone that you can have accountability with. My best friend and I did it together, and we kept each other accountable. And so because of that, we were able to almost make a challenge out of it. And when it comes to that, it really helped me. And then when it comes to diet and working out, I was lifting heavy at first and eating carbs, proteins, things like that. Something that's actually really awesome is in the fitness world, we're taught, especially as women, that we should be eating 1,200 calories or even less. And I've had clients come to me saying they're eating about 500 calories a day. And what they don't know is that actually slows down your metabolism. And you need a certain amount of calories to have your body function properly. Just like you need to put gas into a car for it to run, you need to have in your body for your body to burn fat.
Yeah, Lucy, I would think when a lot of us see these trainers and they're all buff and they're in great shape, I think it would be more inspirational to be working out with somebody like you who's had the challenges themselves and knows what it's like for the rest of us to try to get back into shape.
Yes, sir. That's actually, I worked at a gym in New Jersey. And I specifically chose that gym because I knew that everyone coming to me was brand new to the fitness world. And I can't tell you the amount of conversations I would have with these amazing people who would come in and they would give me their why, their reason why they wanted to change. I mean, I had people telling me that they wanted to be a good example for their children or be able to fit in a pair of jeans for their honeymoon. And these reasons, you could tell they were so special to in every individual that would come in and talk to me. And I sat and cried with some of these people because I've been there. And it is so hard to get started on this journey when you think that you're too far gone.
Lucy, thank you.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Hoda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you.
New meaning to the expression rise and shine.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Hi, Chef Marcus Samuelson here at the beautiful Marcus Restaurant in Balmar, right here in Bahamas. Can't wait to teach you guys how to cook fish. Beautiful snapper dish coming up. I hope you guys are gonna love it. Remember, when you cook fish this summer, make sure you put sushi grade. You buy the best fish. It should be beautiful. Go straight into a nice hot pan. I'm gonna show you all about it coming up later at the 10 o'clock hour on today's show.
Okay, if you love fish like we do, but you don't love cooking in your own kitchen, this is a one-and-done dish for you.
Marcus Samuelson is leading our lesson. Right now, guess what, guys? He's in the Bahamas, where his new restaurant, Marcus at Baha Mar Fish and Chop House, that opened last week in NASA. We are so excited for you, Marcus. We just keep looking at you going, we want to be there, we want to be there. And look at this view. I mean, is this a dream? Are you like living your dream, Marcus?
Wait. I'm here. I'm going to give you a masterclass. Look at this beautiful view. You guys should come down here.
Yes.
We should film it from here, right?
We would love to.
Marcus is never going to leave the Bahamas.
Have you always wanted to
When you're in Bahamas, you want to eat seafood. I want to open here in Bahamas. This is an incredible view. We have a beautiful restaurant, Marcus at Bahamar. And I'm going to teach you how to cook beautiful seafood, because that's what you want to eat. Obviously, conch is something that is incredible, but we also have fresh snapper. And anytime you cook a fish, you want to make sure you pat it dry. You don't want to put a super dry fish in the pan. We start with oil, and then the key is actually to mix oil and butter, and that's what we're going to do right here. By the way, I know you're not looking at me. I know you're checking out the view. I know what's going on here.
Oil and butter. Yum.
Yes. You want to mix the two. You start with the oil for the heat, and then you start the butter for the flavor of the fish, right? You start with the skin side down, and I'm using my fish spatula, but I'm flipping it. Not this way, I'm flipping it. And then I can just flip the skin. And now the fish is done. I'm going to squeeze lemon juice.
Wow.
Did you get that?
Yes.
I had to show off. You know. So I know you got a rum drink going on there right now, right? You got a rum drink going on, right?
We wish we did.
In the Bahamas, well, that's why you got to come down here. All right. So my fish, look at that, guys. How beautiful that fish is. Golden brown. I'm tossing it with a light salad of fresh tomatoes. These tomatoes are actually from a farm right here in the island. That's what we work with here. Work with a lot of local producers. I'm just going to put a little bit of tomato, fennel, fresh herb, and this incredible, beautiful tomato water. And I know what I'm going to have. Look at that. Check this out. Isn't it beautiful?
Marcus.
Gorgeous.
That is Can we ask you, you flipped that fish over. It didn't break up into 100 pieces, which is what usually happens when we cook fish. So how did you make sure it stayed in one whole piece, either there or on the grill?
Yes. Love that. That's a great question. So when you buy the fish, whatever you're going to do, you have the sushi quality of fish, right? And then the key is really here. When you get it, when it's butchered, you put it on a little cloth like this, so it's super dry. Put in a pan with a little bit of oil, skin side down. And then it takes about 2 minutes to get that beautiful crisp. You add in the butter, and then you flip it. So firm fish, hot pan is the key to that.
Marcus, also, we alluded to this in the intro, but, you know, some people, and I have to admit, I'm one of them, are timid about cooking fish indoors because it kind of smells up.
Fish. The fish is, of course, fresh.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to have you guys come down here to Bahamar at the Bahamas to check out the Marcus restaurant.
Oh, we can't wait.
Marcus, we're so happy for you. I know we're having a little audio issues, but you know what? You look good.
Yes.
It looks like heaven, and we'd love to be out there with you. Yes. To get this recipe.
Thank you, Marcus.
Go to today.com/food. Enjoy. Please come back to New York.
Yes,
Don't leave
we
us
miss
here.
you.
All right, that was pretty good. And tomorrow we got another big show for you. Our exclusive conversation with Meghan Trainor, her husband Daryl, and their cute little baby. We'll talk about a lot.
All right, so we'll see you bright and early Thursday morning.
Thanks for joining me at Today All Day. I love sharing Cooking with Cal videos with you, but I've also gotten the chance to interview so many fantastic people across our country wanting to make a difference in one person's life or change the world for the better. Here are a few of my favorites. Enjoy.
The circle has gotten wider.
We have never had this many people
here. We can look ahead to the third hour of today.
Yes. Sorry, I was stepping on you.
No, that's okay. We're talking Cooking with Cal. I understand you're making some cinnamon buns.
Yes, I am making some cinnamon buns. I found this great recipe online. I can't wait to share the full version with you during the third hour. But for now, here's a little taste. Ooh.
It's a special delivery of Cooking with Cal. What are we making today?
Cinnamon buns.
Here's the big reveal.
That is huge.
Huge, right?
That's way bigger than the baby. Hot?
Should we check out this bun in the oven?
Yeah.
Baby. Oh, that is good.
I'm having no baby.
What?
I
Again?
I am again.
How can we not hug you right now? We
Wow.
need to hug you.
No, we can hug.
To not be able to give hugs is awful.
I have to say, last week, Holt and I were sending a little text. We're like, do you think Dilly
We had a little secret text back and forth. I said, and by the way, I actually saw Dylan over the weekend because we're neighbors on the weekend. And I had a couple of side eyes. I was like, is something happening?
Did you know? I drink, so I didn't know if you were like trying to
I never did. I gave you a tea. Do you remember?
You gave me a tea.
I didn't know officially, but you did lie to me because
Why?
I asked you 2 weeks ago, third hour, you said something.
That was like a month ago.
Well, I said, are you pregnant? You're like, no.
I couldn't tell.
Dylan, tell us
When's the baby
everything.
due?
Do we know a boy or girl? Like, what's
we
happening?
do know, but we're going to reveal that in the third.
Oh,
After, I mean, we actually do have a good recipe for cinnamon buns. So
Nobody cares about your cinnamon buns.
Although I left one on each of your desks.
When do we do? When is?
Not till November, obviously.
Okay.
So can we guess
So
since you're
another
going to announce it in about an hour or so?
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah,
Can we?
Can we guess? Let's do it.
Say,
I like that.
I just want you to have a girl.
Girl. It's going to be a girl.
But I bet you it's a boy.
I think you're right. I think she's going to have a house
Boys
full
are
of
strong with
so
this
nervous.
Wait, let me look at
What do you
John.
think, Chanelli?
I kind of feel like it's a boy just because you guys, like, I don't know.
You make boys.
I'm like holding my stomach. I don't have to hold it in anymore.
No,
my goodness,
girl.
I've got my tightest Spanx on, and I'm like,
This
how long?
is so exciting.
Congratulations.
That giant bottle of water really helps to
That's
like
it.
hide the belly a lot.
Another towel.
Oh, is that why you walk around with that big old jug
Well,
of
it
water?
helped. It was a side.
Oh my God, is Brian like over the moon?
Over
and
the
is
moon.
Cal freaking
It
out?
turns out we really enjoy having kids.
Yes.
Because I mean, Calvin and Ollie, they're so much fun, and we're like, let's try for a third, and it wasn't happening, and you know, we said let's forget it.
Yeah. Don't worry about
let's
it.
move on.
And
then of course,
Boom.
surprise.
Love you, Dylan.
The show party of 5.
Wow.
What a
we go.
blessing.
Love it.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you, guys.
all of you guys, all you lovely
Thank you.
Fisher
Yes.
family.
This is great.
Amazing. Is it a boy or a girl? Just
I'm
come
not
on.
saying.
Just whisper it in my
We'll tell you in 10 minutes.
Coming up in the third
I'm
hour.
good at cards. I can keep my poker face.
We are celebrating Dylan's big announcement in case you missed it. Dylan, you want to share it one more time?
We're having a baby.
Wow. And by we, you mean you and Brian.
Well, no, all of us.
Not all of us collectively.
You know, it's so funny because very rarely, you know, it's hard to pull off a surprise around here amongst us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I knew, but I'm like, you were genuinely surprised.
I was stunned.
And you have on pink and blue.
Yeah, but
That works out perfectly.
So what do you think?
Do you have any
pink
guesses?
or blue?
I think it's another boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
I think it's another boy.
What do you think, Al?
Yeah, boy.
What do you think?
I kind of think so too. I think it's another boy. Let's look at Dylan and
We
see.
are going to find out.
I thought this is when we were going to find out.
Yeah.
No.
So we're doing an actual Cooking with Cal. I have this recipe for these delicious cinnement buns.
I don't care about the buns right
I do.
now. I want to know about the sex.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that. Because you really like that Jennifer Aniston
Oh
video.
my God.
Okay.
It's Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez, yes.
But what time is that? When are we doing that segment?
When you leave.
Even here?
You know, when
I
you
don't even
leave.
know if you're still
Yeah,
here.
when
I'm
you
going to
get
have
up
to
and-
stick around, I
You gotta
guess.
stay for this.
That's how we get
Come on.
Frank to stay.
Is that into the show, guys? Will someone
Yeah.
in the control room tell me?
9:30.
9:30?
Oh, you can
for
stay.
that.
So everybody stick around.
I'm
till
staying for
9:30.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
The next read is yours.
I'm still so
done.
floored by it.
He's flummoxed.
That's what I wanted.
Are you-
I've been trying to like pull this off for so long.
And the baby's due in November.
Yes.
There's just a lot to process.
I know. Calvin is
excited?
like over the moon. He can't wait. My Mother's Day card, he like drew a stick figure in like a stick figure of me, so it was like the baby in the belly.
Aw.
It's really exciting.
Yeah,
And he's been through this, so he's ready.
Yep.
I know.
One more time.
He likes
It's Ollie that I'm worried about. You know, I'm Team Ollie. Now Ollie, that would become the middle child.
I'm more worried about Bosco.
Oh, yeah, Bosco's
ready
going to
to
quit.
jump
Bosco's leaving.
Yeah.
All right, we can't wait to find out the sex of this baby here in apparently 28 minutes.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky. Cleveland. Reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic.
How narrow of a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
It has been a long year. Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for?
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready?
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
A huge lift is underway for one of the most celebrated cities in this country, Cleveland, Ohio.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
We're having a baby.
Wow.
The big reveal is under the lid.
Hey now.
Things are looking brighter, so we want to help you find the fun in 21.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
In case you missed it, earlier this morning, Dylan announced that she and Brian are expecting baby number 3.
Yes.
Yay, and I had to use Cooking with Cal to make the announcement. So we celebrated our bun in the oven by making cinnamon buns in the oven in this week's Cooking with Cal. I found a recipe on this website called Ambitious Kitchen, and I am so glad I got to share this moment.
Wait, are we about to find out?
My boys.
We're about to find out?
We should be.
Well, let's watch the recipe first.
Okay.
It's a special delivery of Cooking with Cal. What are we making today?
Cinnamon buns.
Cinnamon buns. You've never made this recipe before, but I'm positive when you test it, you are going to love it. Okay, first things first, we have to warm up the milk because the milk just came out of the fridge and it's really cold. Now, can you pour this into here? Let me move it a little closer.
Sorry, I can't reach that far.
Right. We'll pour it in there. So instead of using regular yeast, we're gonna use instant yeast. So we don't have to wait like, 9 months for it to rise, okay? Careful, this is the melted butter. Okay, sprinkle in the sugar. A little salt. All right, so now we need an egg and a yolk from an egg. Okay.
That's a pop.
So now let's pop this off. I'm gonna sprinkle in some flour, okay? Is it getting harder and harder?
Yeah. What's that for?
This is, remember how you just said the dough is getting hard to work with?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna let this dough hook do all the work. So when we leave this here for an hour, the dough is gonna rise and fill up the whole bowl. It's gonna grow.
With this top, what do we do with that?
It just helps keep the dough nice and warm. I'll see you back here in an hour. Do you want to see what it looks like? Okay, here's the big reveal.
That is huge.
Huge, right?
That's way bigger than the baby. Hot?
What do you think, Ollie? Are we doing a good job?
What is that?
Whoa, it's nice and warm, right? Good job. Pull this nice and tight. Soft. Awesome. I see you, Ollie. Don't they look so pretty?
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting these will be delicious. All right, let's wait 45 minutes and then we'll put them in the oven. Pull this off, big reveal. Oh, baby, these look delicious. Okay, let's make the frosting.
Actually so yummy.
Actually so yummy. Should we check out this bun in the oven?
Yeah.
Ooh, baby. Spread this all over. Can we share it?
Why?
Because it's huge. Mmm. Oh. That is good.
I'm having no baby.
What?
So I'm actually not going to reveal what we're having. No, I'm kidding.
Me?
You guys have been waiting for so long. So I figured you'd be wanting and craving something sweet, just like me.
I'm so excited.
So when you open the box, like hold it towards the camera and just lift it because the big reveal is under the lid.
Hey now, I knew it. There you go.
That was well done, by the way.
That is so great.
Another boy.
Wow.
Lord help me. Another boy.
Wow.
Boys, you got to get 2 more for a basketball team.
Can't have a girl if we tried. We tried, but
There's still time.
I think it's
we're
great.
done.
It's
This
just
is it.
so awesome.
Have you guys started talking about names?
we are out of names. I feel like we're like Calvin Bradley, we loved, and we're like, I wish we didn't use Bradley on Calvin because we could have used that
for a first name.
For a first name.
Craig Albert.
And then Oliver George, we love.
What if we open up to viewers?
Oh, yeah.
Can we?
Hashtag.
That, I
Hashtag Dylan's baby name.
That happens naturally, I think.
Okay, let's do it. Hashtag Dylan's baby name.
I like
Needs to
that.
be something
Congratulations.
old-fashioned. We're trying to figure out.
Oh, by the way, congrats to you too, Brian.
Congratulations,
That's
Brian.
right. By the way, Craig, you guys got to catch up.
No, we're good.
This way we'd all have three.
That's true.
No, I get my segment done.
So we're excited about Dylan's great news. She's pregnant. She announced on the third hour that it's a boy. So she's going to have 3 little boys in her house. Beautiful. She's got Calvin, Ollie, and a new baby, baby
so
number
happy
3.
for her.
And Dylan and I have become neighbors.
Yes.
We actually now live next to each other, which is so wild and cray. But Haley and Calvin have become pals, so they were on a caper to get some candy. So I just want to show you just a little video of them at work.
A toddler's tryst.
Don't have to carry it. You just have to so we can get another piece of candy. Yeah. Let me get another piece of candy.
They're walking for you. Look. They were trying.
Stand on it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it.
And he gave it to him. Wait, and then he got one for himself. How sweet is Cal that he gave the first one to Haley? By the way, that video goes on. You should have seen the process of them trying to get their hand in that jar. But he got one for himself too. And by the way, Haley woke up the next morning and said, "We're going over to Calvin's to get more candy."
I just love that they're like on a little plan together.
Oh, so
you know,
cute.
every time somebody's pregnant anywhere,
Yeah.
I have the opposite. Like, you know, everybody else, like you kind of felt it, right?
Yeah, I felt like she might have been.
I do the opposite where I'm like, hey, thank you so much for the bun. Like, what are you doing on the show? And then I'm like, let's go out and get drinks. Like I always say the wrong thing.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here. A very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprise.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement. Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, you know, also today, May 12th, National Limerick.
I love Limerick Day.
I know. Limerick, 5-line poem where the first, second, and fifth lines rhyme together. The third and the fourth lines rhyme. We celebrated last year with personalized limericks for each of us. We want to keep that tradition.
That's why I like Limerick Day.
That's right.
Because Aaron Kim our producer, puts together some amazing limericks.
So we haven't seen these, but we will read them for each other. So this one is for Chanel.
Oh, Lord.
We tease her cooking. Her skills are we overlooking? She says she makes a mean salmon. So let's hurry. Let us examine. Hurry, let's call booking.
Okay.
Well, you messed up when you were reading.
Yeah, you messed up.
Okay,
we're
reading these cold.
Yeah, okay.
But we had the script.
No, I read Al's. I like this one.
Al's. Okay.
Our good friend Roker has a face fit for poker. We never knew what's in his head when the punchline is said. Sometimes the joke is mediocre.
Very fitting.
That was pretty good. If they could only hear all the jokes we've heard during the commercial breaks today. Okay, can I read yours?
They were clean jokes.
They were clean. Ollie and Cal will welcome a new pal because Dylan is having a baby. Will viewers pick the name? Maybe. Or just let Uncle Al?
Oh, that's nice.
That's a good one.
And that leads into the big announcement from yesterday.
Yes.
Dylan revealing she's expecting her third baby, another boy. She and Brian trying to come up with some names. So we asked you to weigh in. And there's a poll on today.com. Here are the name choices and how they're doing.
Okay, here we go.
Maxwell, at the max, 30%.
Wow.
Noah, 25%.
Okay.
Brody, at 20%. Then bringing up the rear, Julian, Arthur, Walter, Archie.
Huh.
What do you think?
It's interesting because there are some names on this list that we've tossed around. I actually do love the name Archie, but because of my mother and father-in-law, we can't go with Archie because in a Boston accent, it sounds like Archie. And it's grating.
Plus, there's also the royal baby.
But I'm actually okay with that, but Archie's not going to fly. I like Archie, but...
Okay.
So do you have a favorite on that list?
I do, but we have one in our head that we like right now. We like to see if it simmers for a week or two, and then we're like, oh, we're over
If not
it.
Archie, go with Jughead. Okay, anyway, you can go on our website and weigh in on a name. We'll
That's
be right
so
back.
funny. I like Maxwell. Call him Max.
Yeah, my sister-in-law tried to give us that one.
Really?
Yeah. We said no.
I love swimming. I love ballet. I like playing at the park.
9-year-old Maggie Monin and her 8-year-old sister Charlie are your typical kids.
I like to swim and I like to call my friends.
Awesome. So you like to be on the phone a lot, huh?
Yeah.
But ever since they were born, basic skills like running, jumping, even walking have been a struggle.
Can you take me back to when Maggie was little and you were pregnant with Charlie at the time, and when you first started noticing that there was something different?
It was probably right around when Maggie was about a year old. We noticed that she struggled to pull herself to stand, and she really wasn't taking her first steps. We noticed that she had low muscle tone in her legs.
Numerous doctor's visits and tests revealed Maggie had spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, a neurodegenerative disease that can be fatal.
Your world fractures when you hear that your kid has SMA, and you don't know what to do.
It's also genetic. Their parents, Scott and Nora, had no idea they were carriers. And when Charlie was born, they got the same crushing diagnosis.
We're lucky that they have each other. They're in it together. They have someone who knows exactly what they're going through.
We can support each other, and she can support me. I can support her during tough times.
As active as the girls are, even a simple bike ride with the neighbors is exhausting.
They jump up on the back of this couch and look out the window and watch them go by. You know, My dream for them is to get them on the other side of the window, right? To be out there with those kids.
It's a story Jason Kraft has heard before. Kraft owns Electric Bike Technologies in Croydon, Pennsylvania, making motorized tricycles typically for senior citizens. But in the fall of 2019, Kim Heinrich came in looking for a bike her daughter Allison, who also has SMA, could ride without getting tired.
And they came in for this test ride, and Allison got on and took to Liberty Trike like a fish to water. She was just zipping around. At that point right there, it was a paternal instinct to say, look, this is yours. Like that kid has to have this.
Not only did he give them the bike for free, he had Kim connect him with other families in the SMA community, giving away 10 more trikes last year.
To get a gift like this, it really must mean so much to these families.
Some of them need help, and we're going to do what we can. They're the most driven people, and they're the most grateful people I've ever met.
Which brings us back to Maggie and Charlie, who have been on a wait list for 2 of Jason's trikes.
Is that something you would like to have one day?
Yeah, definitely.
I see those blinds are closed right now, and Maggie and Charlie, I don't think you should wait for those bikes anymore. So Scott, if you could take your family outside, we've got something special for you right outside that window.
Well, all right, girls, let's go.
Hey guys. All right, guys, why don't you come down and see your new tricycles, okay? Your new Liberty trikes. All right, Charlie. Take a look, because you got the Barbie pink, right? When the other kid's out riding, you guys are gonna be out riding too, including Dad and including Mom, so you can go on rides. If Mom will stop crying, we'll see. We'll see. Can you guys get on by yourselves? You wanna check it out? Here we go. Look at these smiles. How's that?
Cool.
Cool, all right. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie, you're doing awesome.
Girls, I have to ask you, what do you think? How is it?
Awesome.
I stayed on FaceTime with them the whole time as they were just learning how to get comfortable with the bike. And Maggie and Charlie's trikes are just 2 out of 20 that Jason has pledged to give away to kids with SMA this year. So
That is so wonderful.
Really
beautiful.
To go outside and ride a bike with your friends, that's what every kid wants.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
It was so nice to meet them and the wonderful family, too.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes. This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground.
Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
This morning, a look at a futuristic and innovative art installation called Immersive Van Gogh. It brings you inside Van Gogh's paintings through animated projections, music, and movement.
So Chanel and I just had to go and get an exclusive sneak peek at the high-tech exhibit. I can't believe we're doing a shoot together.
This is our first shoot in more than a year.
I know. I can't wait.
And this is a good one to do, an Immersive Van Gogh.
I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Let's do it.
Chanel and I had no idea what to expect when we stepped into Immersive Van Gogh. Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. We're like in the painting.
It's like the paintings come to life.
You are literally in the painting.
It's breathtaking.
The exhibit has been shown in cities around the world like Toronto, Chicago, and Paris, as seen in Netflix's Emily in Paris.
Did you ever think you'd be in
Starry Night.
It's amazing. You want to sit?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you look at art and you look at paintings and you imagine where they were when they painted it.
Yeah.
And this puts you in that place.
It's almost like you're in someone's mind.
Like wherever this was, you're in that place now. Producer Svetlana Dvoretsky is part of the team responsible for bringing Immersive Van Gogh to New York City. Just getting the opportunity to walk through here before it's even finished, and we're totally blown away.
New York is going to be the largest, the most elaborate, the most impactful of all. This specific location has 94 state-of-the-art projectors. We have licensed 400 high-resolution images.
It's funny, at first I thought the mirrors were just decoration.
No,
but they actually serve a purpose.
Yeah, because I can see what's happening over there.
Yes, and so when things move with the mirrors there, it feels like things are moving around you.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Along with adding mirrored platforms and sculptures, New York's creative director David Correns, the mastermind behind set designs for Tony Award-winning shows like Hamilton and Dear Evan Hansen, will also incorporate cutting-edge technology to connect gallery goers to Van Gogh. Like this virtual reality pocket gallery and a letter-writing station powered by artificial intelligence. I didn't realize what a prolific writer he was.
Yes, the idea is to invite the guest to write a letter. After you've kind of gone through the entire experience, you might want to like give him some props, and through artificial intelligence and computer learning, we've created a massive database out of his 1,000+ letters that he wrote to his brother Theo, and it will give you an original letter written by the man himself.
How cool is that?
So you can ask a question, and you'll get, not only will you get a letter, but each letter has its own original and unique sketch based on his artwork.
After immersing ourselves in his work, Chanel and I wrote our own letters to Vincent.
Dear Vincent, my mind is blown.
The weather here is beautiful in New York City.
Your work is amazing.
How's the weather where you are?
You know what's crazy is I can't help but to think what he would think to see all of this now, being as though he only sold one painting in his entire life.
And he was basically penniless through his life.
Oh my gosh.
And now to see his artwork move. I mean, this is like the late 1800s. And now you can see what 2021 has done for it.
It's amazing.
We really were in awe.
It was
walking around.
Heavenly. Like it was just.
Yes. We wanted to just stay there all day.
What a field trip.
So we wrote those letters, and after you write letters to Vincent, they can purchase a printed response that you take home with them. So we just got ours back this morning. It's all
Vincent
kind of.
wrote you back?
Yeah, well, they use technology because he wrote so many letters.
So there's like a whole algorithm based on the question you asked. There's
What he would say.
That's a long letter.
We only read a part of it.
Obviously, I asked about the weather. I mentioned what it's like here. I think the heat, he says, I think the heat is still doing me good in spite of the mosquitoes and flies.
Oh, look at this.
What does yours say?
Really long, but I'll just read a clip of it. He says, how I'd like to be able to show you the work that's in progress. I have found it is looking at things for a long time that ripens you and gives you a deeper meaning.
I like that it's signed here, more soon, and thanks again for your kind letter. I shake your hand firmly.
Very nice. I'd like to see something like this with those dogs playing cards. That would really be great. Like you could play cards with them.
How long is it going to be open?
It's open here. It doesn't start until June 10th. It's going to be open all summer long, and there are also exhibits planned for cities around the country, too, so not just in New York.
That was really cool.
It's really worth it.
Very nice.
Welcome to Today All Day.
All day?
Today, all day.
All day.
This is a long way of asking who's your favorite character you've ever played? A unicorn. The unicorn. You gotta have the unicorn.
What is she right there? That's why you're saying all these nice things?
Yeah, she gave me the look. Sorry to disturb your day. Everyone's mad at you, Willie.
Better make this fast. I don't want the wrath of Luna.
When I see you, I always think, I wonder what his quote would be.
Give us 6 minutes and we'll ask as many questions as we can.
Welcome to Cold Cuts. Cold Cut. Cold Cut.
My buddy Cal cooking with me.
Dads don't babysit. It's called parenting.
What was the first book you remember loving?
Heart Smart Today with simple exercises to strengthen your heart. Make the most of your beach days.
It's all about the tracksuit now. How good do they look?
I now pronounce you husband and wife. Kiss the bride.
Today All Day. We've got a great show for you on this Wednesday morning, including an all-day exclusive chat you can only see here. But let's kick it off with Pop Start. Are you ready for more? As in Mary Tyler Moore, the late Hollywood icon is set to be subject of an upcoming documentary, and Carson has all the details. Check it out.
We are going to start Pop Start today with Mary Tyler Moore, the Hollywood icon known for redefining roles for women on screen, is set to become the subject of an upcoming documentary called Being Mary. It's going to take a look at the personal life of the legendary career of the actress who passed away back in 2017. She, of course, famously played Mary Richards in all 7 seasons of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, a character who was never afraid to make audiences question the way women were being treated in the workplace. And she usually pulled that off with a laugh like this.
What religion are you?
Mr. Grant, I don't quite know how to say this, but you're not allowed to ask that when someone's applying for a job.
Would you think I was violating your civil rights if I asked if you're married?
Presbyterian.
The film Being Mary, the Mary Tyler Moore documentary, set to premiere sometime next year. Next up, Coldplay, one of our favorite bands around here, just announced their next album. It's called Music of Spheres and marks their 9th studio record. Yesterday, the guys released a trailer teasing what fans can expect from the new record, and here's a little taste of that. As you can hear and see, the Music of Spheres continues that interstellar theme from Coldplay's most recent single, Higher Power. You also remember they did Higher Power right here on the Plaza last month. Absolutely awesome. The next single is set to drop this Friday, and that full album is coming out in October. So excited.
That was so fun.
That was so great.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Next up, one of Hollywood's favorite duos, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. The Good Will Hunting team is together again in the first trailer for their new film called The Last Duel. Damon and Affleck reuniting. They wrote the movie. They'll co-star in it together. It's a medieval movie that's actually based on a true story. In the trailer, both actors look nearly unrecognizable.
Wow.
Matt Damon as the knight who challenges his squire, played by Adam Driver, in a fight to the death after Driver's accused of attacking Damon's wife. Here's a look.
A most unspeakable charge has been brought against you.
Jacques Legris entered our home. He attacked me.
The accusation is false. I request a duel to the death.
If you lose, your wife will suffer dire consequences.
One of us has lied. Let us let God decide.
A little Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Little Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Yes, definitely.
That's like it. The film has a great cast. Emmy-winning actress Jodie Comer's playing Matt Damon's wife. The Last Duel is the name of it. It's set to hit theaters this October. One more for you guys.
Okay.
It's all about you and Hugh Jackman. The actor's recent social media post had nearly 1 million people going, I'm sorry, what? What is that? Turns out that you can add Backgammon Champ to the list of Hugh's many talents. Hoda caught up with him recently to discuss his latest projects, including the fierce competition between him and Deb, his wife.
How are your backgammon skills, by the way?
So good.
Still?
Deb and I play 20 games a day, and it gets heated. She is competitive.
She is?
Oh, yeah. But my backgammon skills got very good, I think, over the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, beware.
Wow, who
Maybe
knew?
one of the nicest people I've ever
Yes.
in my lifetime is that guy right there.
And his wife, Deb, is spectacular.
Deb is amazing.
Deb is
Amazing.
incredible, and we ended up going to this place called The Edge at Hudson Yards, which you're like 100 stories up, and you can see the glass through the bottom. Anyway, we strolled around. He's got a sci-fi action film coming out in August. It's called Reminiscence. Anyway, he shared a lot. It was real fun to talk to, and just was like such a peach.
I feel like I see Deb all the time in the lounge at JFK when I'm flying to LA to do the voice. She's like always there. Traveling and got the dog and talking to you on the phone.
Such a renaissance.
Sweet.
Yeah. Look forward to that.
Yeah. All right, Carson, thanks.
That's it.
Up next on Today Talks, Al and Dylan sit down with gymnast champion Gabby Douglas. Stay with us.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Good evening tonight from Geneva, just hours away from his historic summit. Over 16,000 unaccompanied children tonight in custody. What's victory look like in this, or what does improvement look like? It's going to be a challenge to meet that 70% goal. Why is it so challenging?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
What should we watch for to find out whether this Geneva summit was worth it? What would it take for you to support this bipartisan infrastructure deal? What are the issues that the party stands for? That seems to be the missing piece here. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Oda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you. Cheers. We've been watching Chanel bust a move all morning.
New meaning. See the expression? Rise and shine.
Jenna, nearly 2 miles in the air.
Your Gampy would be so proud.
Oh, thank you, Al. Welcome back. Today in the third hour, the gang is flipping out over their chat with gymnastics champ Gabby Douglas. Check it out.
We are so excited because this morning we are catching up with Olympic gymnast royalty, Gabby Douglas. She is the 2012 Olympic all-around gymnastics champion and a member of the gold-winning teams at the London and Rio Games.
And Gabby's joining us this morning to talk all things gymnastics as well as some new hobbies that she's recently picked up. Gabby, good morning.
Hey.
Good morning. How is everyone?
We are doing great, and great to have you joining us. And of course, we are all obviously rooting for the USA Gymnastics women's team. So when you heard about that positive COVID test, what did you think about this and how it would challenge the team's focus?
Honestly, I can't imagine what these athletes are going through. You know, I've never trained or competed during a pandemic, and so I can just imagine the added stress and pressure. And as athletes, we are all in each other's faces and spaces, and so just to be mindful now of, okay, I got to social distance, be careful who I hang around, I got to be careful what I touch, and I just I can't even imagine because it's just a different world that we live in, and there's going to be so much added pressure now with no people in the stands. Yeah. But I honestly applaud and respect every athlete because this is definitely not an easy time that we're going through right now.
Gabby, you were, of course, the first African-American all-around champion back in 2012. And 8 years later, we're sending the most diverse gymnastics squad we've ever sent to an Olympics. What's it like to watch representation grow and be a part of that shift?
I honestly have been so very just grateful to have been a part of that shift, and not even just a shift in athleticism, but also a shift in anything else in all other crafts and fields. And I'm so grateful that people are recognizing their ability and creativity and their talent and say, hey, and stepping up and say, hey, no matter race, nationality, it's in my blood to do this. I'm going to go out and shine and shine because this talent was given to me to go out and shine and inspire generations. So it is so beautiful to see that growth.
And Gabby, we can't help but notice the giant neon sign behind you. We know you're a paid spokesperson for Mattress Firm, and love your energy this morning. Seems like you got a good night's sleep. How do we get rid of junk sleep? What's the mission?
Well, yes, and I believe everyone struggles with junk sleep, and it's so important that we get rid of junk sleep, and it's so natural within our bodies to toss and turn at night to not get a lot of sleep. And for me, I have so many remedies that I do. I do teas, I do journaling, I do stretching, because our bodies need sleep, and that is the #1 recovery is sleep. And especially as athletes and also as human beings, we need sleep to recover. I definitely incorporated a lot of sleep as an athlete, and even on The Masked Dancer, I noticed a huge benefit with not sleeping versus sleeping because I put so much effort and sweat into dancing 24/7.
And in fact, you talk about the Masked Dancer. How did you keep that secret from your family during quarantine? And what was that like taking part in it?
Honestly, I love being mysterious, and it was no problem for me. I tell my family, I could have been a CIA agent or an undercover agent. They're like, be careful, they might recruit you. But honestly, I love the idea of being mysterious, and it was so fun. My sister didn't even know what character I was. So it was really fun for me.
That's really cool. We always enjoy your energy, Gabby Douglas. Yes. Come back anytime.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Gabby.
Coming up on Hoda and Jenna, it's our favorite or not so favorite time of the week when we reveal the winning outfits from your Tuesday votes after this.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Good evening tonight from Geneva, just hours away from his historic summit. Over 16,000 unaccompanied children tonight in custody. What's victory look like in this, or what does improvement look like? It's going to be a challenge to meet that 70% goal. Why is it so challenging?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Hoda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you. Cheers. We've been watching Chanel bust a move all morning.
New meaning. See the expression? Rise and shine.
Jenna, nearly 2 miles in the air.
Your Gampy would be so proud.
Oh, thank you, Al.
What should we watch for to find out whether this Geneva summit was worth it? What would it take for you to support this bipartisan infrastructure deal? What are the issues that the party stands for? That seems to be the missing piece here. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Welcome back. Today on Hoda and Jenna, it's our big Tuesday outfit reveal. But this time, our male staffers chose our looks. Yikes. Let's see how it turned out. Take a look.
This is a different kind of Tuesday. We had our voters, and our voters were not you, and our voters were not.
Well, they were you, but first,
no, our
before
men.
the outfits were selected by the men of the office, yes. But then
Didn't the men choose
No.
Oh,
First,
so the men narrowed it down.
There
Okay,
they are.
I want you to look at them.
Look how handsome they are.
We have a good-looking group of guys. You think we're an all-chick show, which we kind of are, but take a long gander at that. So I see Davey and Rope. Davey, you
Davey
chose...
and Rope, y'all look so cute together.
I kind of want to... Dave, can you come here for 1 second? I just want to ask you, when you were choosing our outfits, what was the criteria you were looking for?
I wanted something that was a little bit classic, but had a little pizzazz to it, you know, something that said, I am Hoda, I am Jenna.
Can we ask you, were any of the outfits that we're wearing what you chose?
Not the best.
Not the best. So not the best.
Not the best.
Not the best.
We're good.
Davies claims some of them were good, but his quote is not the best. So you decide, because we're about to reveal our outfits one more time.
Okay,
all right,
this is what Hoda...
those are my choices. A white outfit, a black outfit, or a multicolored.
Okay, here are mine. An orange, a multicolored, and
the school marm
The
look.
school marm. But you know what? Let's just say that all of them are little school
But can I
marmy.
tell you what I realized from listening to how people vote? America likes color. They don't like black and
but
white.
there was
It's a
an orange,
bore
sorry, there
snore.
was an orange that has just gotten looked over time after time again.
Nobody wants the orange.
I do.
America said no. But what
Okay.
did America say yes to?
They said yes
It
to
was
this.
a landslide victory for both of these
Yes.
outfits. It was
Should we
not.
see?
All right.
Let's go. One.
Wait, hold on.
Two.
Wow. America likes color, baby.
Yeah, but evidently America likes white, tight jeans that you're scared can't zip.
Well, by the way, you look great in jeans. Why don't you wear jeans more often?
I do wear jeans a lot.
I just
I
I don't notice.
Anyway, the green and red dress with the bow that I had that our staff guys loved came in a
Very distant third.
Savannah kind of summed it up with her comment, "Be by a mile."
Be by a mile. See, there you go.
Okay. Well.
And by the way, I do want to shout out my mom. She actually picked this dress
this
for
dress
me.
looks gorgeous
She picked
on you.
it.
And I actually don't think we look as kind of crazy
As we thought. We
as you
wondered.
thought.
All right, so we do have some big news, guys. So right there on our plaza, we are doing something really, really cool because the Olympics are coming and we realize everyone's going to be watching it from their own home. So we wanted a kind of collective viewing party. So we want people to come to the plaza to cheer on Team USA and be part of our live broadcast.
Yeah, we're inviting a fully vaccinated crowd to join us every weekday morning during the game, starting next Monday, July 26th through Friday, August 6th. I will be out there. Hoda will be in Tokyo. I'm going to be missing Hoda very much.
Yes. Well,
I need to find a new Hoda.
You're going to find your people outside, and you're going to be on the plaza for 1 week outside with the people. I'll be in Tokyo for a week. We'll both be back together on the plaza for week 2. That's our plan. So we're excited.
Yes, come see us.
I mean, how much fun. We're going to have a big, I think we're going to have a big, Jumbotron so you can see the things. We're going to have little stadium seating. We're going to have people watching. It'll be a fun way because, look, the Olympics is something you have to see collectively. It's more fun. It's
so
like,
come watch it with us.
Come hang out. You got to be fully vaccinated. That's the deal. Head to today.com/plaza and see if you can see what's what. We're getting ready.
There it is. Can I just say though, because we're talking about missing you and how much I'm gonna miss you, but I'm also missing a little girl who's in camp, and I got a letter. I got a letter last night
from your daughter?
that reminded me of a letter that I would write, and it broke my heart in a million pieces. This is what it said. Dear Mom and Dad, I miss you. I wish I could be with you. I wrote Poppy and Hal a thank you for the package. XOXO, Mila. P.S. Daddy, how much longer till you pick me up? I miss you too much. I need to stop crying. So goodbye. I miss you terribly, Mom and Dad. I mean, isn't that? Here it is. I took a photo and sent it to my parents. How much longer till you pick me up, Daddy? Daddy goes, Daddy. Ooh, I didn't mean to call him that. That's my pet. Daddy. Henry goes, should we just go? Should I just go get her? I was like, no, she's fine. But isn't that the saddest?
By the way, that's hard. That's a
I'm
heartbreaker.
expecting an email like that from you next week, too.
When are you going to pick me up, Jenna? I'm here in Tokyo. Oh my
gosh. Anyway,
all right.
Isn't that hilarious?
That's, by the way, how sweet is she?
The sweetest.
And by the way, in a week, she'll forget.
Yeah, let's hope. That's what my dad said.
Yeah, he's right.
Okay.
He's right. All right. So it was a big night last night. If you were watching the Major League Baseball game last night, it was the Orioles and the Rays. It was in Florida. Something was different. So for 100 years, baseball games have looked and sounded the same. They've always had male announcers overall. There have been some women who've been doing certain
you know
roles.
What? It's so funny because when I was homesick at camp, I would listen to Texas Ranger baseball games, and I remember Tom Green was the announcer, and I can hear his voice. In my head. But now that voice has changed.
Yeah, 5 women just made history last night. It was an all-female broadcast team. It went from the pregame and the postgame to the play-by-play to the color commentary to the on-the-field reporting. And here their names are Melanie Newman, Sarah Langs, Alana Rizzo, Lauren Gardner, and Heidi Watney. And man, I was so lucky. I got to sit down earlier with them and just chat about the milestone. Here's a little bit of what Alana had to say.
You know what it's like to have to break barriers and pave the way as well. So you can certainly relate to the story. And I think that it's so important for us to recognize the moment of we have an important job to do, and we have an opportunity to be able to open some doors for some young women that may not have realized that this was, in fact, a career path and a choice that they could do. At the end of the day, the 5 of us collectively have earned this right. We have the resumes to be there. And at some point, we need to take gender out of the equation and just say, you know what, this is a quality broadcast team, not a quality female broadcast team.
Go, go, go. That was awesome. She's right. She's right.
Isn't that
She's
so
right.
true?
By the way, women are kicking butt everywhere. I was just thinking about Wally Funk, who went up into space.
That picture you posted yesterday.
I love it. I was just thinking about Kim Ang, who's the general manager for the Tampa Bay, a female GM of the baseball team. Those 5 women together. There was like a lot happening with women.
Yeah.
And pretty soon everything's going to be normal.
But don't you also love when she just says, let's take gender out of the equation?
Yeah,
we
and
do
also,
our job well and let's let it.
Right, so little girls will go, oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that was not a possibility in my lifetime.
Oh,
Boom.
So cool. Okay, and speaking of sports last night, the Milwaukee Bucks won the first NBA title in 50 years, and the team was led by superstar
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I thought it was Giannis.
What'd I say? Giannis?
Giannis. But Giannis, he scored 50 points all by himself.
Wait, think about that. 50 years since they won, and he scored 50 points.
Cool.
By the way, he is such an incredible story. If you really want to dig deep, we played a little bit about his motivational speech that he kind of gave.
Which was talking about living in the moment.
Yeah,
and how that's the most humble place to be.
Don't brag about what's ahead. Don't
even in your mind.
Yes. Don't think about all the cool things you used to do. This guy was born in Greece. His parents are from Nigeria, and they struggled to find work because of their immigrant status.
Yeah, Giannis and his brother had to help make ends meet by selling watches and sunglasses in the street, and often putting basketball on the back burner.
Well, look at Milwaukee.
Oh my gosh, don't you love that?
I mean, that's chills. That's 50 years of waiting, and it happened. What a proud moment. So congrats.
Super cool, and you know his family's super happy.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Unscripted. So dictionary.com does this thing where they add new words because people evolve. Words are added to the English language, so they have 300 new ones.
Okay, so here they are. Ready? These are the words that made the cut. Zaddy.
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 I think, and I know this because I actually peeked online because I saw a lot of zaddies. Zaddies are like hot guys who are like a daddy. Is that what it is?
Wow. Yeah, an attractive man who's also stylish, charming, and confident.
I like that. Do you like that? Hey, ooh, there's a zaddy.
I don't know. For
Dave
some reason,
Auerbach.
it's zaddy.
Zaddy.
So there's for some reason, like calling somebody, because I call Henry daddy on accident sometimes,
Yeah, me too.
but meaning like,
hey, Dad, are we going?
And not like, for some reason, it does not do it for me. It's kind of gross.
Wait, saying daddy when you're talking about
my husband, because it's just, there's something Freudian about it.
Well, some people like to use that as a term of something else. You know, they like that.
No, I get that, but not for me. You're
either.
saying, do you like zaddy? It's not a term I'll use, but what about this? Yeet.
I don't know what yeet is.
Yeet.
Y-E-E-T. What could it mean? Do you know?
Yee.
Okay,
I think it's something like yay.
Happy? Okay, let's
see. I have no idea.
Oh, an exclamation of excitement, approval, surprise, or all-around energy.
Often is issued when doing a dance move or throwing something. Yeet. Yeet. Why throwing something?
I don't know.
Yeet.
Good one.
That felt good. Get yeet out.
You got it out?
Get it
Okay.
out.
Here's one. Oof. O-O-F. Oof.
Oh.
So this is an exclamation used to sympathize with someone else's pain or dismay. Oof.
Oof.
But I don't know that that's a word. That's.
Oof.
But you always say that. Oh.
But you just added an F to it. I say,
I always say, oh. But what if you were feeling bad because I told you something sad? What would you say?
Ooh.
No, you wouldn't. No, you would not.
I think I would probably be like, oh, blank.
We have good news for Southern folks.
Are you
Finally.
joking? Y'all.
Finally. Look at it.
Y'all, it's time. Y'all is getting its own entry instead of just a variation of being you all. It's about
Y'all, here it is. Let's read it. Y'all, used in direct address, usually to two or more people or one person who represents a family. Okay. Definitions are so dumb.
I know.
Y'all is like
y'all
everybody in the room.
Remember when we used to say, let's go, y'all?
Yeah.
That got taken away.
You know why? That didn't get taken away. We took it away ourselves.
Well, it just died slowly.
It died on the vine. Some things are meant to go.
Do you think our outfits
Someone just went, oof. Is that you, Lee?
I'm going to say yeet.
Yes, it was.
I'm going to say yeet. Today Talks continues after the break. My exclusive chat with Hoda you can only see here on Today All Day.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
It has been a long year.
Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for?
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Welcome back to Today Talks and our exclusive content you can only see here on Today all day.
All day. You know what? As sad as little Mila's letter was to you at camp, by the way, I bet you a lot of moms are going, oh, my child wrote a letter just like that. And in case people missed it.
Yes. So Mila wrote a letter, and the first part was like, I just miss you so much. But then she said, flip over on the backside, said, Daddy, when are you going to get me? I miss you too much. Okay, I have to stop crying now. So goodbye, Mom and Dad. And it was like, I have to say, we get so excited as parents to get the letter.
A letter, right.
Like we're checking the mailbox. Yeah. And he's like, a letter from Mila, and we get it, and we're like,
oh no! Was there a part of you that thought about going to get her?
I mean, it's jokingly. Henry's like, well, when somebody says, Daddy, when are you coming to get me? I need you. I miss you so much. He's like, should I go? I think particularly he felt that. But no, and I actually, when I was at the same camp, I wrote a letter that said, I have so many friends. And then the next letter said, Dear Mom, the last letter was a lie. I have no friends. And I said to my mom, I said, did that make you sad? She's like, thought it was hilarious. It's just funny that I feel like we've become kind of, this generation of moms is a little bit more like involved.
And maybe too involved, you think?
Probably.
I think about that a lot too. It's sort of like, how do you develop a child with resilience and smarts and a little bit of toughness if you're always up in their grill
and trying to save
them? I think that a lot. Like whenever Haley falls, I'm like, okay, good, let's go. Like I try not to, because if it's, on it. What is it? Can I see the boob?
I know.
I feel like then she might turn into one of those, I have another boo-boo.
And I definitely have that personality. Like I'm not a nervous mom, but when you know that your child's sad, there's a bit of you, but I guess being sad is kind of good.
Yeah. Do you remember feeling, other than at camp, do you remember feeling like left out by yourself?
Don't you?
Yeah. What did you do when you felt that way?
I think what's interesting is, and I thought about this last night, I don't think I discussed it.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was like a kind of a group of kids that were cooler, and I always felt not as cool.
Yeah.
And that I did feel that, but Mila will be like, oh, the boys think these girls are pretty, no boys think, and I'm like, it's kind of cool that she addresses it. Like I kept it hidden inside. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think a lot of us felt like, well, we were raised this way, so it's fine. Well, I think talking about it is better. Like I remember my worst years were probably 7th and 8th grade, and I remember them so vividly because I remember all kinds of stuff. I remember just, I had all the things that were weird about me, just the hair, the glasses, the name. And I remember sitting in the front of the bus, just willing it to get to middle school. I was like, just get there, because I could hear kids making fun. And I thought, like, go there, do your school, get back on the bus and go home. Like, that's how you do it. But I feel like if you have a more difficult childhood, your adulthood's easier, because think about the people who had it super easy. They were very handsome or beautiful. And then they get older and they realize like life ain't
matter that much either.
And life ain't that easy. Like not everyone's turning to listen to you because you've said something. I was used to, and you too probably, people not always paying attention. So that was the norm. It wasn't like...
I definitely had the feeling, and I remember this at camp, like I wanted to go and like do plays. And it wasn't like nobody really wanted to come with me. Like I wanted, I had a big imagination, which I think as a little kid, it made me a little weird.
Yeah.
Which was also okay.
Yes.
But I am proud that she says things like, sometimes I don't feel comfortable in this. Like, I'm like, well, that seems like you're way more in tune with yourself than I was.
One of the things I love about you, and I think I loved it the most at Halloween last year when you were doing the Cats performance, you don't care, you just say it. You're like a kid who's having like the moment of her life. And it's not like, how does this look? How do I sound? You are like, babe, I'm on stage. I got my cat tail.
And I think I sort of was always that kid, but it was bizarre when I was like a chubby Texan. I'm like, who wants to go play Les Miserables? They were like, we want to swim in the lake, you chunkster. Okay.
Oh, that's it. It's over. Got to go so fast. All right, that's it for this episode of Today Talks. Keep watching for more Today All Day.
everybody.
Hi.
First of all, congratulations. I can say you're an Olympian. Does it feel that way yet? Raise your hand if you feel like an Olympian. Raise your hand if it still isn't quite sinking in yet that you're an Olympian.
Yeah. I'm 18, I'm Phoebe Bacon. I'm 19, I'm Alex Walsh.
I'm 19, I'm Reagan Smith.
I'm 19, I'm Kate Douglas.
I'm 18, I'm Tori Husk.
I am 17, I'm Lydia Jacoby.
I'm 19 and I'm Jake Mitchell.
I'm 19 and I'm Emma White.
I'm 17 and I'm Claire Curzan.
I'm 16 and I'm Bella Sims.
I'm 15 and I'm Kate Grimes.
Jake, how does it feel being the only guy? You're holding it down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
So Claire, let me start with you, Claire. You just turned 17 years old, is that right?
Yes.
I hear you had a unique training setup during the pandemic because a lot of people realize that, look, things were postponed for a while. Things have been kind of weird, but now you're back in it. But what were you doing during the pandemic to stay in shape?
So my neighbor had a backdoor pool, so I was able to kind of steal her pool for a little bit and use a bungee cord to do some resistance training. So it was pretty chilly, and I had a wetsuit on for a while, but it was really great to be in the water.
So you're literally in your neighbor's pool during the pandemic using bungee cords just to try to stay fit.
Yeah.
But clearly it all paid off.
It did.
How old are you, Katie?
I'm 15.
You're 15 years old?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's cool, but I don't know. I was just telling them I'm like the youngest in everything. Like I'm the youngest in our swim team group. I'm the youngest in my family. At some point I was the youngest to qualify for the trials, so it's just kind of fitting.
How long have you been swimming?
I started my club team when I was about 5, so like about a decade.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So Reagan, you are 19 years old. This is what we think is pretty cool. You posted a picture of yourself. It was on Instagram. I think it was a yearbook picture from when you were 11 years old. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
Tell me about that picture and what did the caption say underneath it?
Yeah, so it was like my 5th grade yearbook, and it was what we wanted to be when we grew up, and I said that I wanted to be an Olympian.
Oh,
very sweet.
They say what you think about, you bring about. And so now here you are all these years later as an Olympian, one of the teenagers on the team. You guys are making history as teenagers. What about for you? How does this feel? Is it surreal? I mean, again, this is something you've been working for years.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like a dream come true, absolutely. And it always sort of felt like an unattainable dream just because the Olympics are so romanticized. And especially with this pandemic going on, we didn't really know, if the Olympics were going to happen at all. So it's very cool and very surreal that they're happening and I get to be a part of it. So it's very special.
So I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you guys, and I'm thinking about all of the kids and teenagers, not just in the US, but around the world who swim. And yet here you are, 11 of you, and you made the cut. Does it sink in that you're frankly one of the best swimmers in the world?
No, not at all.
What about for you, Reagan? When I say you guys and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are some of the best swimmers in the world. Does that sink in?
Not really, honestly, because when we're all here together, it just feels like a normal group of kids.
So Lydia, you are 17 years old, and as I understand it, you are the first Olympic swimmer to come from Alaska. Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
The state must be thrilled for you. Tell me about the support that you're getting from the folks in Alaska.
Yeah, it's been so cool. I know Alaska itself is a really small community just because our population size is so small, but within that, Alaska swimming is an even tighter community, so that's been great to have all that support. And when I came back from in the airport, everybody came and met me, and yeah, it's been great.
When you landed and you went back home in June, you landed at the airport, how did it feel to see that crowd and all of those people there just to support you?
It was crazy. I mean, I've been getting tons of texts and messages and stuff, like I couldn't even keep up with it, but to just see that in person when I came home was another whole thing, so that was pretty cool.
Is there an adjustment going from, a small swim club at home to, Olympic training camp in Hawaii?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at home, I have people to train with, but nobody to go to meets with and everything, so it's just been really neat getting to train with people who are on my level and can push me.
Is it different? I read that this training camp in Hawaii is the first time you've consistently worked out in a 50-meter pool.
Yeah, we only have one 50-meter pool in Alaska, and they keep it in short course, so this is my first time swimming long course. Yeah.
What? Are you guys surprised? I guess you did. So wait, Phoebe, you're 18 years old. You're from Maryland. So this is what is really cool. So tell me if this is true. In pre-K, you were paired with a 4th grade mentor. Can you tell everybody who that was?
It was Katie Ledecky.
What are the odds? What was she like?
Yeah, I know when I was that young, I don't think me or her knew what swimmers we were going to become. And then it was just, we were becoming friends. And that kind of started our relationship to now being on the same Olympic team together.
It has to be somewhat surreal. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, right? So the odds that I end up working with somebody else from my hometown on the Today Show would be very odd. So for you, what are the odds that you guys were swimming as little ones and now you're together at the Olympics? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, I think it's wild, especially, I don't know how they paired us up because we have both very different personalities, but it's just crazy.
And then when you saw her as an Olympian, I guess it was back in 2012, did you think, I want to do that too?
Yeah, that was the first moment I kind of felt like the Olympic dream was possible for me. Just from her being from a small community, and maybe I could too.
Phoebe, how much work, goes on behind the scenes? What don't we see when it comes to making a spot?
I think it's a lot of work. There's all the recovery, and then there's the fueling and nutrition, and then if you're in school, you're also doing that on the side, and it's a lot to take in, but we seem to all kind of balance it well, and I feel like swimmers are really good at time management, which really helps.
How often are you swimming a day, Phoebe?
Either once or twice a day. Usually for me, some days I'll have an hour and a half practices, and then other days it'll be up to 3 hours. It kind of depends if I'm swimming once or twice a day.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
What should we watch for to find out whether this Geneva summit was worth it? What would it take for you to support this bipartisan infrastructure deal? What are the issues that the party stands for? That seems to be the missing piece here. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Kate Douglas and Alice Walsh. You're both 19 years old?
Yes.
So this is so cool because you both swim for UVA and you punched your ticket to Tokyo, during the same race. What was that moment like for you two?
Yeah, I just remember, in the warm-up pool before the race, our coach looked at us and he was like, just let's do this together, let's make the team together. And I was a little bit scared to say that because I think I was kind of in denial that I even had a chance of making the team, but I think it definitely helped motivate me just knowing that me and my teammate can make the team together. So that was just super exciting.
And how cool is that? You guys came in first and second, right?
Yeah.
When you're swimming, I've always wondered, what's on your mind? I mean, you guys are so fast, you're so good. Are you in a zone, or, what are you thinking about when every millisecond counts?
I mean, I guess at the end of that race, I'm thinking about the pain of the race and trying to push it out of my mind so that I can finish the race as fast as I can. In that race, I just put my head down once I got to the flags, and I knew that was my last chance to finish the race and try to get a spot on the team.
And what about you, Alex, when you're going into something like that?
Yeah, I would say the finals at Olympic trials is a really unique atmosphere that I know it's really hard to prepare for, just because the nerves and they're really high. I'm really grateful that I had Kate next to me, because we're training partners, and I knew we know how the other one is going to swim the race, and we both know that it's going to be really close on the last 50 meters of freestyle. So having her there, I think that was really good for both of us.
And Alex, what did your family think?
I saw my mom was crying, obviously, a lot. I think they were feeling a lot of the emotions that I was feeling too. I think people kind of forget that the family it's kind of like a team effort almost, just because everyone has their own support system going through the same thing. So I think they were just as happy as I was.
Tori, you are 18 years old from Virginia.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the fact that so many athletes were bummed, because the Olympics were delayed a year. But did you think perhaps maybe it helped younger athletes like you guys? It gave you a little bit more time, or what do you think about that extra time?
I think it probably made a huge difference in all of our swimming this year. I feel like that extra year really gave us time to perfect our technique, and also I feel for the younger athletes, I feel strength, at least for me, was a really important and game-changing aspect of my swimming. So it gave me a whole another year to work on my strength training and just to get stronger. So I feel for me it made a really big difference.
So in some ways it was like a silver lining to have that extra time.
Yeah, I feel obviously COVID wasn't great, but I feel I tried to be optimistic and to make the best out of it.
Bella, you are 16 years old from Vegas.
Yes.
Is it true that you only started swimming 6 years ago?
Yeah, I started swimming when I was 10, yeah.
And now you're an Olympian? What made you decide to start 6 years ago?
My friends swim, and I would just go over their house and have sleepovers, and they'd have to go to practice, and I just have to watch, and I was like, dang, that's kind of fascinating. I want to try. And then I did lessons, and the instructor was like, you're kind of good, you should try developmental, the swim team. And going from 5 meters to the 25 is a push. And then I realized I loved it when my parents were would ask me, and yeah.
You're so laid back about it. You're oh yeah, I just go in, I just swim, but you're obviously really good. How would you describe your journey to get here? How much did it take behind the scenes to get that spot?
Definitely practicing some every day. I used to watch YouTube videos on how to perfect my technique, and I would try to use it in practice. And if I ever felt I needed more work, I'd go to the gym with my brother or stuff like that.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprise.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day.
Let's change the world.
Love it!
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
We are going to be cheering you on all the way.
Hoda is going to renew their vows right here. Cheers to you.
New meaning to the expression rise and shine.
talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Jake, you're 19, right?
Yeah.
From Indiana. And so you had placed second in the 400 freestyle, but didn't make the qualifying time for the Olympics. So you had to do a time trial by yourself to see if you could beat that time. How nerve-wracking was that?
It was pretty nerve-wracking. I mean, the entire day kind of leading up to it, I was kind of wondering if I'd be able to do it because I couldn't do it in finals, and I never really had like a tapered meet like kind of leading up to that, so I didn't know exactly how fast I was going to go. I just knew that I'd trained really well for it. But then as it got closer, I just was trying to shift my mindset to being more grateful for having the opportunity to get another chance at it, and yeah, so that nerve just turned into excitement.
Wait, Jake, did you just give us some words of wisdom? So when you're crazy nervous, as opposed to just racking your brain with nerves, you find a space for gratitude? Does that help?
Absolutely. At my club team, growing up, we always had like talks about gratitude and how powerful it can be if you use it in the right way. So just like working on the mental side of things really helped me in that kind of situation.
So I am not an Olympic swimmer, but can I tell you, Jake, that I honestly think that you just taught us something. Whether you are a swimmer, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a dancer, you know, whether you're a student, we all feel nerves sometimes. And I guess I never thought about taking those, you know, that anxiety and trying to fuel it into being, you know, gracious. That's awesome. And it also helps me, it reminds me, you know, how much would you say, Jake, when it comes to swimming or when things get really competitive, how much of it is a mind game or is mental versus the skill set itself? Is it a balance?
Like for us, like when you get to a meet, it's like all the mental side because all the physical stuff's done. So it's really just like about focusing on yourself and what you can do and like the controllables, not focusing on things that are out of your control, just making sure that you're doing the best that you can to be the best that you can be.
And what does your family think about this, Jake?
They were super excited. I remember like after I finished the race, I like ran outside and gave my parents a hug, and I had family all around kind of texting me and calling me and congratulating me, so it was really, really nice.
And is it true, you guys, tell me the record, is this the most teenagers they've had since 1996? Did I read that? Emma, let me bring you in here. You train, I know, and train for this moment, but it still has to be so overwhelming, if you will. Have you received any advice that gets you through?
I actually met Elizabeth Beisel at trials after my 4 a.m., which is so cool because I've looked up to her for so long. And it's really an honor to follow in her footsteps. She gave me a card and she talked to me about having the 4 a.m. on the first day of the meet and kind of how to handle the pressures of it all, which was so cool.
How many of you are on Instagram? Show of hands. Show of hands, how many of you are on TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
So I guess this is just the way of the future. Do you ever find yourself reading comments, or does it fuel you in a positive way? I mean, for any teenager, social media, you know, has its pros and cons. What about for you guys?
I mean, I think most of the comments were positive after that. Like leading up to the meet, I try to stay off social media of all the swimming stuff, but I mean, after it was all just mainly like congratulations, which I'm super thankful for my family and friends.
I know sometimes when I have a long day, I'll be honest, I'll open up Instagram and I'll kind of scroll and it kind of takes me away, kind of lets my mind relax a little bit. What about for you guys? How do you unwind, if you will? Because I know that it's probably stressful.
I mean, I think I try to separate swimming from the rest of my life when I get home, kind of try to shut that off. You know, like hang out with my sisters, I have 3 of them, and kind of like unplug and think about the next day.
I read for somebody, this is your first time traveling out of the country. Who is that for? Raise your hand if this is your first time traveling. How does that feel?
Good. I mean, if I'm gonna go out of the country for my first time, might as well be for the Olympics.
So you're training right now with some legends. First of all, going to Hawaii any day would be awesome, but training there with Olympic legends. Is there anybody that you're like secretly kind of geeking out for or seeing?
I'd say just kind of everyone. Like the first day, Coach Greg told us just to get in the lane with people you don't know. So obviously this is kind of one of my big first national team trips, so I got to leave with Kayla Decky, which was crazy because, I mean, I used to only see her on like media and stuff, so she's been so nice and just welcoming to us, and it's been great just getting to know everyone.
I've always wanted to train with Ryan Murphy, just because like he's like such a legend in the like backstroke community. And last night I finally got to like train right next to him, and it was like such an awesome moment.
How about for any of you, is there anybody, even going to Tokyo, I know it's going to be a little different this year, but is there anybody you love to meet that's an Olympian with any sport? Anybody?
I want to meet Simone Biles.
Me too.
She's so cool.
What is it about Simone Biles that you guys admire?
She's the GOAT. Yeah. She rocks. I just think she's so cool. I love watching her like highlight reels at her competitions.
Well, I can't wait to watch your highlight reel as well. Okay, I know you guys are all still getting to know each other, but who would you say, is there anybody in this group that has the most intense pre-race superstition?
Me?
Yeah.
What do I do?
She's like, I'm like, it's so scary. It's so intimidating. Because she comes out.
That's so funny. What does that do? Does that just hype you up?
Yeah, you know, it just gets me going. It's got to scare the competition.
Who would you say, and again, I know you guys are just gelling as a team, but who would you say is the most relaxed before a race?
I don't think anyone's relaxed.
Anybody goof off during training, or who's the comedian who likes to have fun?
Phoebe.
You again?
She likes to joke in the ready room.
I mean, like,
and what is it? Does it just kind of keep the attitude light, or what's your thought?
like I like swimming mostly just because it is so much fun. And like just today at practice, we were definitely doing a hard set, and like I was trying to keep everybody positive. I feel like just because like I enjoy it, and I want everybody else to enjoy it.
What is it like there in Hawaii? Who's there? What are you seeing? What are you doing?
I think it's gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, outside all of our windows are just like this beautiful, like multi-blue colored beaches, like ocean, and then like we're walking around outside and it's just nice out. It's sunny all the time. Like coming from a Wisconsin winter, this is amazing.
Does it feel, for any of you guys, does it feel surreal?
It's just now kind of starting to sink in now that we're like all together and like you're spending time with everyone, but it's still definitely surreal.
What are you most looking forward to in Tokyo?
Trading pins. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wearing the flag on my head. That's probably the coolest part.
Probably meeting people from other countries.
Do you get to do the opening ceremony?
I think if you swim later in the meet, you're allowed to, or like you're more likely to.
You know, you guys are still young, but did any of you ever watch the Olympics and look at swimming and just dream and wish that maybe one day you two could be there?
Yeah.
All of you?
Yeah.
Show of hands, how many of you watched the Olympics in years past and dreamed of being there? That's amazing. What is it that you love about swimming in this sport?
I'm just like super competitive, and I love the fact that everyone gets to push each other and then but I think we're all pretty supportive of each other, and it just makes everything better.
And Tori, how does it feel when you're in that water and you're swimming, you're doing the butterfly, like I don't even know the terminology. How does it feel when you're at your best? What does that feel like?
Well, in a race, I feel like I'm not really even thinking. Like I'm kind of just like going. I feel like thinking, I guess, is more like for practice. But when I'm at my best, I feel like my mind is pretty blank.
And my last question, somebody speak in behalf of all of you, what it feels like to be a teenager at the Olympics. You guys are seriously making records as this team being so young. Somebody speak in behalf of all of you, what you want the country to know from you guys.
Dream big, have fun. I don't know. It's an honor to be here, and it's so fun that we can represent our country, hopefully for many more years to come.
Well, thank you guys so much. All the best. We'll be rooting for you. I mean, gosh, at 15 years old, 17, 19, the sky is the limit. Thank you guys so much. And good luck in Tokyo.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
It was a gloomy afternoon in Manhattan for our first in-person buddy-up in over a year. But we weren't about to let it rain on our parade.
This is the first time we've been together in person.
It's been a while. I'm so happy.
We've got a little urgency because there's a big line of thunderstorms.
Just saw that. We are the
weather wizards.
Oh my goodness.
So let's get it going.
Our first backyard game, a classic, cornhole.
How do you score cornhole?
So I think, if I remember correctly, I'm usually pretty drunk. In the hole is 3, on the board is 2, off the board, half off the board, like if it's dangling, it's 1.
Are you taking notes on this? Well, yes, it's the score. Ooh! Oh!
Wow. Doofus.
Oh, name calling this early? Oh!
Look at me! Look at me! I'm Craig. I'm awesome.
Oh! Ooh. Look at you!
Yes.
Look at you!
Yes.
Cornhole Pro! Cornhole Pro! Yes! Yes!
15-9.
We're up.
News nerds?
Okay.
All right.
Let's get we won. Yes!
I thought we had some wiggle room.
Boom!
In a shock to everyone, the news nerds are up 1-0. But the stakes are getting higher in a supersized version of Connect 4.
All right, here we go. You gotta get 4 in a row.
Okay.
4 in a row.
4 in a row.
Ready? Ladies
Yes.
first.
Okay. Smart move. You don't want them to get anything, so don't put anything down because then they can.
Good catch. Good catch.
Is this the least we've ever talked? Ow!
Yes! The old man's lost it!
You did it!
The old man's lost it!
He just wanted the game to end!
Okay, what's up? Next.
Things aren't looking great for both Team Weather Wizards or literally the weather.
There's lightning and thunder coming.
Is that becoming like a roll cloud? Look at that.
With the storm approaching, it's time to get a move on for our grand finale, Can Jam.
If it just hits the side, that's 1 point. You throw it, falls in, that's 2 points.
Will Team Weather put any points on the scoreboard?
If it's above and you knock it in, right? You jam it, that's 3 points. If it goes straight in, game over.
Good try. That was good. This storm's getting
Now,
vicious.
watch it, it'll go 4-3.
Okay, fine, just hit the thing.
Oh, close.
So
4-4. That might have gone in.
All right, 4-4.
First one to 5. All right.
6.
Mean Can Jam.
Despite the Weather Wizards' Can Jam comeback, they were still down 2-1. We had a choice, keep going or stay dry.
As you can hear, and as we've seen,
God.
ta-da, we've got a line of pretty severe thunderstorms rolling in. It would
seem to be that way.
I think it's time to call this buddy up. Why? Because I don't want to die.
Go News Nerds, we won.
You won, yay! Makes them feel better.
Oh, we heard you.
Hey, today all day, if you can't live without coffee, trust us, you're not alone. But up next on Saucy, Anthony Contrino is sharing his favorite ways to use espresso with 4 recipes that will get you buzzing, including a show-stopping tiramisu and an espresso martini with a twist.
Italians love their coffee, and I am no exception. Whenever I'm in Italy, my first stop every day is to a coffee bar. In the mornings, it's for a cappuccino, and then later on in the day, a shakerato. And of course, I love coffee-flavored desserts. First, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect pot of espresso using a mocha pot. Then we'll shake up my favorite coffee beverage, a shakerato. For dessert, an Italian's favorite pick-me-up, tiramisu. And then a delicious cocktail that you can't live without, an espresso martini. So if you love coffee as much as I do, come along and let's get buzzed. A mocha pot is a stove-top coffee maker that you will find in pretty much every Italian household. And it's quite easy to use. This comes in this hourglass shape, and all you need is some espresso and some hot water, which I already have in the bottom half of my pot. Then you want to take your coffee filter, and I'm using coffee that's ground for espresso. There are different types of grinds out there, so make sure it says espresso grind, and then slide it right into the bottom half of your mocha pot. All that's left to do is screw on the top half. You want to get a tight seal to trap the steam in. Once you put it on the heat, the water is going to boil and the pressure is going to push it through those grinds into the upper cavity. Okay, I'm going to put this on medium heat. That's all there is to it. This is going to take about 8 minutes, so I think I'm going to start making some lunch. Nothing beats a good sandwich for lunch, and today I'm going to be making one of my favorites, a mortadella and provolone panino. It's sort of like a bougie bologna and cheese sandwich. Now, this sandwich is delicious because of 2 components, and one of those is a garlic butter. This garlic butter is quite simple to make. 4 tablespoons of softened butter. You know me, I always need to use a bougie butter. $1 for every time I say the word bougie today. And then garlic, but 2 ways. First, just a little bit of fresh garlic. Fresh garlic is so pungent and just kind of hits you right away with that garlicky flavor. But then I also like to add just a pinch of garlic powder. It's a little bit more well-rounded, and it hits you a little after the fact. So that garlic flavor is there with every bite. Just kind of stir it and mash it all together. Set this aside now that it's nice and well combined. Next, the other thing that really adds a little extra something special to this panino is an artichoke spread. It adds this creaminess, this freshness to the sandwich that I think you're really gonna enjoy. It all starts with just a can of artichoke hearts. I've drained it, and now I'm going to rip off the leaves. I just want the creamy heart for this recipe. And last one, right into our mini chopper. Now just for the last few ingredients. Instead of salt, I'm using pecorino. It's gonna melt into our sandwich, and it's also going to season it. It's nice and salty, and if you haven't heard me say it 100 times, it's one of my favorite cheeses. So a tablespoon of that, and then 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And last but not least, just a couple of cracks of black pepper. Put on your lid, give it a couple of pulses. We're just looking for a nice spreadable consistency. This looks great and it smells delicious. Now all that's left to do is to put everything all together. So I'm using some sliced bread. This is the kind of bread that my grandmother used to have for us growing up. You could find it in most bakeries, just a good boule, Italian boule. So first we take our garlic butter and spread a nice thin layer onto one side of the bread. Make sure you get every crevice, every nook and cranny of this bread. And same thing. Now, flip one of the pieces upside down so that the butter is on the bottom. When we put this in, the butter will be on the outsides of the sandwich, and it's kind of gonna be like inside out garlic bread. Up next are artichoke tapenade. Just enough to cover our bread. Tastes better on the sandwich than it does on the board, I'll tell you that much. Okay, next up, mortadella. Mortadella is one of my favorite cold cuts, as we would say here. It's fatty, it's so flavorful. This one has gorgeous specks of pistachio in it. And it's just so delicious. I like to pile it on. Sandwich is all about the fillings. I think I'll do one more piece just because why not, right? And then some provolone. This cheese will melt nicely and it's just gonna provide a nice, sharp flavor to the sandwich. Cover it up, butter side on top, and it's ready for our panini press. You can hear that sizzling already. We're gonna cook this low and slow, about 3 to 5 minutes until it's nice and golden brown. I can hear the butter kind of sizzling. Can you hear it? I think it's done. Oh, yes, it is. Carefully slide it to the board. Look at the cheese. Oh, crispy where it hit the griddle. Now that this panino is ready, all that's missing is a perfect beverage to serve alongside it. I'm gonna show you how to make my favorite coffee beverage, a shakerato. It is not very popular here, but I think you'll love it. I usually drink coffee with a lot of milk or creamer in it, and this has none of that, but it doesn't need it. It's so delicious. I'm gonna take a shaker, I'm gonna fill it generously with ice. No need for bougie ice here. Then our Demerara sugar. It's an unrefined sugar and it's relatively coarse. Then our freshly brewed espresso. 2 shots right on top. And then cover it up. I like to cheat because I'm nervous. Don't want to be wearing it. Wrap it in a towel and now just shake, shake, shake vigorously. At least 20 to 30 seconds until you feel like you're gonna die. Don't give up. Okay, my arms hurt. See? Saved myself from wearing that. While you might not need bougie ice, this drink calls for a bougie glass. And shake it out. The sugar creates this foam. Keep going. We want all that coffee and all of this beautiful, slightly sweet foam. And that's all there is to it. I can't wait to dig in. This drink is so simple, but so perfect. It's just a marriage made in heaven. Can't get enough of it. Now this truly is the perfect lunch.
Hey, today, food fans hungry for more? Just text food to 34318 to get all the recipes you see here on Today All Day. Don't delay. We know your tum-tum is grumblum.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
Tiramisu is the quintessential coffee-flavored Italian dessert, and it's the perfect balance of coffee-soaked ladyfinger biscuits, savoiardi, and the delicious, decadent mascarpone cream. The first thing we need to do is work on our coffee soak. I reserved the rest of the coffee from this afternoon's mocha pot, and I brewed another one. We need 2 cups of our espresso. So a 1/4 cup of sugar is going to go into this, along with a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, just for a little extra flavor. That's all that we need for our soak. Whisk it up to dissolve all that sugar. Perfect. We'll let this cool now while we work on the remaining components of our tiramisu. Now I'm going to make the mascarpone cream. This is my favorite part of a tiramisu. It is so tasty. I honestly could sit there with a spoon and just eat the cream as is, but I'm gonna be nice enough and show you how to make the tiramisu from start to finish. We need eggs, both the yolks and some of the whites. I need 4 of the whites and 6 yolks. Super important that you don't get any yolk or fat into your whites, or they're not going to whip up later. First, we're gonna start with our egg yolks. And I'm making what's called in the French pastry kitchen a pâte à bombe, which is simply egg yolks, some sugar, and flavoring. My flavoring of choice for this is a dry Marsala wine. Not sweet. We have enough sweetness going on with all the sugar that we're adding and our savoiardi biscuits. Going to add 2 tablespoons of this. Then some sugar. We'll add 1/4 cup to this. Some salt. 1/2 teaspoon of that. And we'll throw a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla in as well. When baking, I like to add like flavors to separate components to kind of tie them all together. Now, grab a whisk. Give this a quick initial stir just to combine everything. And then I set up a double boiler situation where I have 1 inch of simmering, barely simmering water, and we're going to place this on top and whisk away to slowly begin to thicken this mixture, cook the eggs the slightest bit, and to dissolve the sugar. Carefully nestle this right on top. The bottom of your bowl should not be touching the water. And then just whisk away until it begins to thicken. It will lighten in color. You can see the texture starting to change already. It's thickening slightly. It's a beautiful, silky texture. You can really smell that masala coming out of this. You can see how much this is lightened in just a couple of minutes. I don't feel any granules of sugar, which means that it's ready to go. You want to transfer this straight to a stand mixer. I have it fitted with the whisk attachment. And now over medium, high. Let it go until it cools down. It will be cool to the touch, and this will thicken up even more. Perfect. It's no longer warm. It's pretty much room temp. And you can see how it's thickened, and we're getting these beautiful ribbons. Thank goodness for this machine, because I can't even imagine how hard it would be to do this by hand. Up next, one of our star ingredients, mascarpone cheese. It's basically the Italian version of cream cheese. It's the best way to describe it. And I'm using a full 16-ounce container. And just add that right into our yolk mixture. Get that all in there. Okay. Put that back on. And you want to mix this just until it's combined. If you over whip it, you can break this batter. This looks delicious already. Set this aside. And onto our whites. So we have our 4 reserved egg whites, and to that, a final 1/4 cup of sugar. Add that in. Start with a clean, fresh whisk attachment. Once you see it starting to form ribbons just like this, you can bump it up a notch. That's perfect. We're not looking for super stiff peaks here, just soft to medium peaks. We're nearly there. All that's left to do is to combine our 2 egg mixtures, and we have our mascarpone cream all ready for assembly. Add about 1/3 of your whites and gently fold/stir it in. This is to soften the yolk mixture to make it easier to fold in the remaining whites. These egg whites are going to lighten the overall mascarpone cream and just give it this beautiful, airy, moussey consistency. Be very gentle, folding it over so that you don't deflate those egg whites. This looks great. Now that we have our 2 main components, our coffee soak and our mascarpone cream ready to go, I'm gonna do a little tidying up to make some room for the fun part, the assembly. Grab yourself a casserole dish. I'm using a 7x11, but a 9x13 will work for this recipe. You'll just need a few extra lady fingers, but you'll have plenty of coffee and plenty of cream. Grab your savoiardi or lady fingers. They're super crispy and feel hard, but they are made for things like this. They're going to just absorb that coffee instantly and get nice and soft and give us the best mouthfeel when we bite into our tiramisu. The trick is to be quick. If you leave it in the coffee too long, it's gonna absorb too much of it and disintegrate and lose its wonderful texture. So 1 at a time, boom, it's all it needs. And then start lining your casserole dish. The first ones have already begun to soften, where I can kind of squish them down. Let's see if I can add 1 more savoiardi. Perfetto. Now that our bottom layer of cookies are in, it's time for the layer of mascarpone cream. Scoop half of this cream right on top. That looks about right. Then with your offset spatula, gently caress it over our cookies, evenly spreading it from corner to corner. Okay, that looks great. Now for another layer of our Saviardi. At this point, you don't have to, but I just can't help myself. I'm gonna just put a little zigzag pattern on top just to make it the extra littlest bit prettier. Gorgeous.
Well, hello. Are you ready to whip up Anthony's delectable dish? Just text food to 34318 and we will send that recipe right to your phone.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Good evening tonight from Geneva, just hours away from his historic summit. Over 16,000 unaccompanied children tonight in custody. What's victory look like in this, or what does improvement look like? It's going to be a challenge to meet that 70% goal. Why is it so challenging?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Talent and perseverance, inspiring America.
I've been preparing for a moment like this for my whole life. I have lots of songs and lots of stuff to share.
I want to show my daughter what it's like to overcome adversity.
So many reasons to cheer for that young lady.
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Let's get this bad boy unwrapped. You can see the cream has kind of set. All it's missing is just a little bit of a garnish, some cocoa powder. You want to be nice and delicate, gently tapping your strainer to get just wisps of this gorgeous cocoa powder. And finally, it's time to dig in. I think I want this corner piece. Glides right in there. Those lady fingers have softened beautifully. Can you see those layers? The lady fingers have truly absorbed all of that coffee, and there's very little of the actual cookie left. It's super soft, and those gorgeous layers of cream. I can't wait to take a bite. This is definitely the perfect pick-me-up and one of my favorite ways to enjoy coffee. Ooh, and it looks like I have a little bit of espresso left. Don't worry, I have another sweet trick up my sleeve.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
It has been a long year. Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for?
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Tonight, we're on the scene as the urgent search for survivors is underway after the deadly collapse of a high-rise building.
Buildings don't fall down in America like this.
The Delta variant. What does this mean for people who are fully vaccinated?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
I'm not much of a drinker, but when a cocktail tastes like dessert, I can definitely get down with it. The first espresso martini is credited to a British bartender who first served it in the 1980s. But unlike most nightcaps, this one packs a punch and will keep you up at night and keep that party going. So take it easy. People love this drink because it's so easy to make. The classic version has 3 ingredients, but I like to add a little something special to mine. Start with a cocktail shaker, of course. Something to measure everything in. A strainer. And some booze. I'm using vodka and coffee liqueur in this. The first step is to load your cocktail shaker with some ice. Then I took the leftover espresso that I had, threw it in the fridge to get it nice and cold, and I'm going to add 2 ounces straight into our cocktail shaker. Up next is our vodka, 1.5 ounces of that. Right on in. Then for a little extra punch and additional coffee flavor, some coffee liqueur, just 1/2 ounce. Then for my little extra ingredient, sweetened condensed milk. It's a little unconventional, but it adds a little sweetness and just a little more creaminess. And it's a little reminiscent of like a Vietnamese iced coffee. 1 tablespoon of that right on top. Then just like our shakerado, we want to shake this vigorously. Get all those ingredients well combined. At least 15 seconds. Okay, our shaker is super frosty. And if you thought my shakerado glass was bougie, you ain't seen nothing yet. Look at that bad boy. Grab your strainer. Look how delicious, how creamy. Get every last bit of that. Now, if I didn't already have a decadent dessert waiting for me, what I would do is make an espresso martini affogato. First, I would shake up an espresso martini, just like this one. Then I would fill a glass with 2 scoops, 3 if I really feel like treating myself, of premium vanilla ice cream. Pour that delicious martini right on top and enjoy. But for now, this will definitely do the trick. Cheers. You can never have too much coffee.
We're going to see heavy snow. Highest totals will be downwind of the lakes. Rare early season snow south to Tennessee. A foot to Jim
Hey,
Gaffigan.
How's it going?
I'm doing well.
I'm a little concerned that there's no weather in Canada. Is there a reason?
Well, we built a wall.
There's no weather in Canada, and they're known for winter.
They are.
How do we know that this isn't Canadian weather invading our country?
Well, it's actually starting in the North Pole.
How long have you been doing this, Al?
40 years.
And you still don't know what you're doing?
I don't.
Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to experience. There's a pressure.
Yes.
A pressure, which is like, that causes anxiety. That makes me want to eat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But anyway,
people
Al,
gain weight during the winter.
I think that to sum things up, it's November.
Yes. No, it's November-wary.
It's November-wary. It is very cold.
It is.
Do you feel personally responsible?
I do.
Would you like to apologize?
That's right. Well, come on over here.
Okay.
Jim Gaffigan, ladies and gentlemen. Award-winning comedian, host.
Thank you.
All kinds of things.
See you again, sir.
I'm just here to hear Craig's deep voice.
I'm
Craig Melvin.
Thank you, Jim.
Was that your first time doing weather? It seemed like it.
I've done weather. I played a weatherman on a TV show.
Really?
What show?
It was called Welcome to New York. It was 20 years ago. I know, I look like I'm in my 20s. I was 1 when it was happening. But yes, I have a lot of respect for the weathermen and the weather people, I should say.
Yes.
So here's your deal. You're here as part of this ongoing job swap series. I hear that Al, we haven't had a chance to see it. He's been keeping it from us. But he took your job for a little bit.
I guess that's what you could call it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He also set in with your family, too.
He did. He took over my entire life.
Yeah.
He became a father to my children.
Yeah, that's where we left it.
They still call him
Well, hold
my
on.
wife.
Not in the biblical sense.
Well, I don't
be a
know.
long morning.
They'll have to watch the package.
Welcome back. We're hanging out with Jim Gaffigan. He and I are doing a job swap, which means I had to tell jokes.
Which you try to do anyway.
Which I try to do, and usually
I
fail.
had to be a sexy weatherman.
That's right. There you go. He also had me fill in for him at home.
Yes.
Which is weird.
I want to
Which
see
is a little disturbing.
This is the weird part.
Let's watch.
Take a look. I am going to be filling in for Jim Gaffigan, who has 5 children, dad for the evening, and then I'm going to do a little stand-up. Hey, kids! So good to see everybody! I immediately took a seat while Jim's kids set the table. Look at this. It feels like a well-oiled machine. Okay, so, I don't know your names. So here, why don't we just get to know each other? We'll all write down our names.
Katie.
Mari.
Jack. Michael. Patrick.
And I'm Al. So, how was everybody's day?
Good.
Good? What was the best thing that happened at school today?
I forgot.
That's my boy. Turns out,
Hi.
Jim couldn't stay away.
I was just saying what's going on.
He's a little awkward.
No, it's not awkward at all.
I invited him to join his own family.
2 hands. 2 hands. See how I said that and then she didn't do it? That's a parenting style.
Whoa, Patrick, you can't get that whole thing in your mouth. Okay. I stand corrected.
Al is a host of the Today Show. He also does the weather. He's going to do my job, which is being a model.
Before.
Oh, before. Wow.
A before model.
Man. It's a tough room. I felt right at home and got into dad mode. You're making me nervous here, Patrick. A little dinner talk before it was time to go on.
Also, I want to be on vacation. Patrick said I want to surrender.
Turns out the kids are funny too. Here, pass these down to your dad. Let's see.
Oh, these are nerd glasses.
Nerd glasses.
Whoa.
You look like Piggy from Lord of the Flies.
Why are you guys so mean to me? Coming up, I'll be back with the weather. Oh, here, don't break those. We gotta go.
That was so wonderful. Thank you. We're off to make comedy. We're rolling now. Woo! Are you on the road a lot, or?
You saw those kids. I try to.
15 minutes later.
All right, here we go.
We arrived at the Gotham Comedy Club.
I'll do 10 minutes, and then I'll bring you on.
Where Jim likes to pop by from time to time.
Okay, here we go. I'm ready. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, especially the people pretending to know who I am. Did some shows in Europe this summer. I brought my family because I didn't want to make any money. I have a big family, and one of the advantages of having a big family is when you travel, it's very similar to shoveling cash into a furnace. How many kids do we have? But it was Euros, so it was like pretty flames.
Then it was my turn.
There's somebody that is going to be trying stand-up for the first time. Let's give a big round of applause to Mr. Al Roker.
So somebody lit in a car alarm. Very nice. I was sitting back listening to Jim Gaffigan, and I thought, why am I here? Oh, you know what would be a good thing? Why don't I wait for like one of the best comedians in the world, and then I'm going to follow him? That's a great idea. You know, when you're a weather person, people say things to you, like they come up to you and they'll go, "Hey, Al, what's it like out?" And I'm like, well, it's pretty much where you're standing. And it's pretty much the same as where I'm standing. It's not that different. You know, back in the day, I was afraid of my father. Our new car was a 1967 Ford Country Squire station wagon. And so we would drive, and then so we'd start, you know, kids start messing around. The thing my father would say was, "Don't make me stop this car. I swear to God, I will turn this car right around. I am going to start dropping one of you off every mile." I haven't seen my youngest brother in 17 years. Now I'm a father, and I got kids in the back, and I say, "Don't make me stop this car," and they laugh. And I just want to thank you all for being a lovely crowd. Thank you so much.
All in all, it's good to be Jim Gaffigan.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, buddy.
That was fun.
Good job.
Thanks for sharing the kids.
Of course.
That was good.
Thanks to my coach.
That's hard. Was it hard?
What is your coaching advice?
I think my coaching, well, first of all, I haven't sent you the bill, but it was, Al's a natural. He was so comfortable up there, and it was just, it was weird because I felt like you were nervous before, and then when you were on stage, I was like, this guy's.
I just kind of faked it.
Yeah,
You had never done that? Never
No, not really. So, you know, I mean, sometimes giving speeches and stuff, I kind of do fun stuff.
People don't fully appreciate how funny Al Roker is.
Yeah.
Like it's,
Certainly my family.
but it's so quick too. Like
But
it's
what
very.
does it feel like? So this is different because people don't have to laugh at what we're saying. What does it feel like when everybody's staring at you with this like spirit of expectancy for you too? Like you have to get it. You know what I mean?
When you watch him work, it really is a masterclass because there's ebb and flow and this wonderful rhythm. People were just being very kind to me.
No, you were great. I think there is something. It's surprising how addictive it is, right?
Yes.
You want to get the laugh?
Because there's something about the conversation and the communication that is really rewarding and fun.
Well, if you're funny.
Right.
There's that. There is
Can you
that. But we have a
imagine?
great audience here too. Our crew and our staff, they do a great job.
There you go.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Are you ready? Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
A huge lift is underway for one of the most celebrated cities in this country, Cleveland, Ohio.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
We're having a baby.
Wow.
The big reveal is under the lid.
Hey now.
Things are looking brighter, so we want to help you find the fun in 21.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
McKinnon Grace is a star on the rise. You probably have seen her playing a young Tanya Harding in I, Tanya, or as a young and fearless Carol Danvers in Captain Marvel.
Now, Jim and McKenna, they're teaming up as a father-daughter duo in the upcoming Amazon film Troop Zero, about a group of misfits who form a birdie scout troop. They earn badges to compete at the Jamboree Talent Show. Hi, this is so fun. McKenna, we want to start with you. I need you to be totally honest, 100% honest. How would you rate Jim Gaffigan as a dad, as an on-screen dad?
I like that you just did Girl Scout honor.
On my honor.
You can lie. You can lie on television. It's perfectly fine. We live in an era where there's a lot of lying.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, like, his character?
No, him
or
to you
just
as a person.
Wait a minute, are you supposed to be nice to kids? I didn't know if you're supposed to be nice to kids.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, like, everyone has their different, like, opinion, but I think that his character in the film, he's trying his best. I mean, he's doing everything that he can, and he's a good dad for Christmas. But I mean, in real life, I think that you're killing it as a father. So I mean,
well, you got 5
10
kids.
out of 10.
I paid her $5,000 for that.
That's worth it.
Jim,
right?
5 children.
5 children.
How much of that knowledge did you bring to this role?
Well, you know, I like to think that I'm a mediocre dad so that I can portray a mediocre dad. I've done research.
Agree that mediocre is what you do best?
I don't really allow them to speak.
Oh,
So,
children should be seen and not heard.
Yeah, no, I try my best. I think that's half the effort, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. I try.
Now, what about laughter on this set? Was there a lot of laughter?
Were you cracking up?
Oh, it was. I mean, we had a good time. I mean, and there was a great group of kids with her, and so they were. It was just such a. And the directors, Bert and Bertie, were like set the tone.
Did you guys have any scout experience? Because that's, I understand it's important.
Mm-hmm. I am a honorary Girl
You
Scout.
are?
Oh.
I sold a lot of boxes of cookies on a set once.
You did? Who bought the cookies, by the way?
Well, Kiefer Sutherland bought about 40 boxes, and that was really nice.
Oh my God! Look, you're doing the
Girl
Scout honor thing, right?
What's your favorite cookie?
Thin Mints. You got to put them in the freezer, though. My dad and I, anytime it's like cookie season, we buy like 5 boxes of Thin Mints and eat them all within a week. It's great. It's wonderful.
Jim, were you ever a scout?
I was a Girl Scout for a short time, but they thought I was too fat, so they made me leave. No, I was a Cub Scout, but I was the youngest of 6 kids, so like the badges, they would just be kind of like baby pinned on.
Yeah.
It's
what
hard
you learn in Cub Scouts?
Stay inside and pretend to be. Should stay inside and pretend to be a dad in movies. That's what I learned.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
It has been a long year. Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing. So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for? Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
While we're stuck at home, so is comedian Jim Gaffigan and his family, but they're using the time to give us some comedy relief. Every night, Jim and Jeannie and their 5 kids stream a live show called Dinner with the Gaffigans. Joining us now this morning, the head chef, Mr. Jim Gaffigan himself. Jim, good morning.
Good morning, Al. I'm already thinking about what masterful dish I'll be serving tonight to my 5 savages. I always said I wanted to spend more time with my family, and I think I'll never say that again.
So let's get, it's you, Jeannie, and the 5 savages. How's the quarantine going?
It is great. It's fun. It's fun just hanging around. It's kind of like an extended play date in hell. No, it's fine. I mean, I'm grateful that everyone's healthy, but you know, I tour. I do stand up. I go to places and I get to do things. And now the highlight of my day is taking the garbage out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that. So we all know, and you guys shared, your wife, Jeannie, had a brain tumor and some health complications. How's she doing?
She's good, thanks. I mean, yes, she is considered high risk, which is a factor that we have to consider. You know, here we are in downtown Manhattan, so we are on kind of double secret quarantine, and we have kind of tried to make the best of it. You know, we do this Dinner with the Gaffigans every night at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. It streams for free. I understand some people are quarantined by themselves or they're in a different city from loved ones or friends. So it's just people can get a glimpse of, you know, a family meal and watch 5 kids with uncombed hair eat mediocre food.
So whose idea was this? You already raised $36,000 for frontline workers, which is just terrific. But who came up with this idea?
Well, it's like so many things. It's a combination with my wife. You know, I was on tour of Latin America when this was all going down. Yes. So when I was coming back, I was very aware that there was a possibility of me being separated from my family. So I was kind of aware that there were people that were going to be alone, that were going to be quarantining alone. And then my wife, who runs this organization with a bunch of like-minded parents and teens called the Imagine Society, we decided to shift it into a fundraising thing where every night we have dinner and people who donate, we kind of talk to them online. And then, you know, I'm cooking and I'm not good at it. And I don't know, this is, you know, I'm definitely raising my children's cholesterol. I don't even think that a fraternity would like my food.
So you have 5 kids who are going to school virtually. So they're on screen time, more time than ever. And I think you stole an idea from me. You're actually locking up their stuff at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. No, we have this contraption that charges, because it has to be charged, the device, when you give it back to them. Because if it's not charged when you give it back to them, the panic ensues. So, yeah, we have this. We have to lock it away. There's a combination lock, and I had to change it last week because, you know, they're children. So they're essentially spies that are figuring out what the combination is. I feel such compassion and empathy for the students and the teachers, you know, and obviously the parents who are supposed to help with this distance learning, which was created as a way to just punish parents. But it's hard. You know, we have 5 kids on 5 screens, 5 different schedules. Let me just show you. This is our schedule for today. This is just today. We're not running an army or anything. That's just different classes and Skypes and Zooms, and it's a blast.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland, Our Across America journey, reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
During this long year at home, comedian Jim Gaffigan has been suiting up for a winter activity he previously mocked in his stand-up act. With touring on hold, the 54-year-old father of 5 has taken up cross-country skiing, as you're about to see. It is a new challenge for the Indiana native who came up idolizing fellow Hoosier David Letterman, and then in 1999 got a life-changing invitation to perform on Dave's show. Since then, Gaffigan's relatable, family-focused act has made him one of the biggest draws in comedy, with Forbes recently ranking him the 3rd highest-earning stand-up comedian, behind only Kevin Hart and Jerry Seinfeld. Jim and I got together outside of New York for a Sunday sit-down and a lesson in cross-country skiing. I should point out I'm more of a downhill guy myself.
When you get a little glide going, you can kind of see the appeal, but...
Right? But it is still absurd.
In Finland, I was invited to go cross-country skiing, and all I could think is fun illegal here?
Jim Gaffigan has performed for audiences around the world. But today, the Finns are getting the last laugh.
Jim, why are we doing this?
Because one of the things we've learned during the pandemic is you need excuses to get away from your family. That, and I'm training for the Winter Olympics.
I can't believe cross-country skiing's even a sport. Hey, you know that awkward part in downhill skiing where you're trying to get over to the lift? What if we just did that?
No, I like it. There's something meditative about cross-country skiing. It's just, you know, you get to spend some time away from your family and your family's not there and there's no family, but I love my family.
When I travel without my children, in between those moments of guilt are just hours of happiness.
Thanks to sold-out tours, Grammy-nominated comedy albums, and 8 streaming stand-up specials, Gaffigan is one of the most popular comics working today.
I was asked to open for the Pope when he visited America, and before you're impressed, it didn't go well.
With a mostly clean act about food and fatherhood.
What more? More bacon!
Often punctuated by something he calls his inner voice.
Oh, he's doing that voice already.
But for the last year, Jim has had to bring his set closer to home.
Welcome to quarantine.
Cooking, gardening, and yes, even cross-country skiing have helped the 54-year-old ride out the pandemic with his wife Jeannie and their 5 kids.
I am taking a video.
Who have escaped New York City for the great outdoors.
Do you have a technique you like to use?
It's kind of like you have slippers on and you're trying to make as much noise so that your wife knows that you're getting up and getting her coffee. So it's kind of a lift the slipper, slide the slipper, guilt trip, slide, that kind of thing. Yeah, let's go into this pretend launch.
Have you missed being out on the road, being out on stage and doing stand-up?
It's been such a huge adjustment because The creative fulfillment of going on stage and getting immediate feedback and then going cold turkey in a way that I wouldn't want anyone subjected to. But I have no concept of what I used to do, like how I'm gonna need a couple days just to recover from this interview. Showering is not a priority like it used to be. But I showered for you.
Did you really?
I did.
How recently was that? Today?
What year is this?
I'm gonna wash your body while you sleep.
Gaffigan's own path to comedy stardom began in a crowded Midwestern house.
I am originally from Indiana. I know what most of you are thinking. Indiana Mafia.
You were the youngest of 6.
Yeah. I'm still the youngest of 6.
Yes, you remain the youngest of 6.
I think that the humor was a tool to gain my siblings' respect. I did an impression of my dad, so it was kind of a way to disarm that authority.
Right.
And then I got a job, and I was miserable. And maybe because I was the youngest and I was considered eccentric for the family, that I embraced this. There was plenty of years I was doing stand-up and no success whatsoever, and I had to come to peace with that. And a lot of people were like, Jim, why didn't you go into modeling? And I'm like, you know what? Because I don't want to be judged for that. Do you know what I mean?
It's so brave of you.
Yeah, it is. There's certain bravery there.
I'm moving a little slow tonight. I had a Hot Pocket for dinner.
I mean, the Hot Pockets moment is one that everyone sort of seized on and said, okay, Jim Gaffigan's the Hot Pockets guy. I love that guy.
Hot Pockets!
I tried the bit a couple times in New York City at comedy clubs, and no one in New York knew what it was, because in New York City you could just go and get a piece of pizza. But I knew that the rest of the country, this was the next stage of the 7-Eleven burrito.
There is the vegetarian Hot Pocket for those of us that don't want to eat meat but still would like diarrhea.
It will pay for my children to go to college. But I don't know if I need more drunk people yelling Hot Pocket to me.
Look at that guy. He's wasted in a bar. I came here to read a novel.
You've been described as clean and family friendly.
As a comedian, I guess I am. I don't curse, but as an individual, I'm a horrible person. But I would also say that the only adjective comedians want is funny. You know, whether you're clean or, in my case, good looking. I don't need that. I just want funny.
Gaffigan's appeal is broad, and his comedy is mostly apolitical. So some fans were stunned last summer when he posted a viral Twitter rant condemning then-President Trump's speech at the Republican National Convention.
Why did you make that turn?
I wanted to alienate as many people as I could. No, it was, I saw the way things could go, and also as a parent, I didn't want my kids to not see me take a stand for things that I believe in.
Yeah.
And I don't think people care about who I vote for. I care about who they're voting for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm running for governor of Texas against Matthew McConaughey, because he's in the pocket of China.
Is this your first attack ad here exclusively
This is my
with
first
us?
attack ad. No, you can't use any of this.
Jim, this has been fun.
This is fun. You know what? Don't turn around. Let's go across the country.
And you've earned your own nap after this.
I've earned my own nap.
Yeah.
You know, so many of the problems of this world could be solved with naps. Maybe the Israelis and the Palestinians need to nap together. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm just pitching that. If that comes up later on, be like, oh, you know what? Jim Gaffigan brought up that.
And he's a diplomat on top of everything else. Jim's latest comedy special, The Pale Tourist, is streaming now on Amazon Prime. And if things go as planned, he will be coming to a stand-up stage near you later this year. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sunday Sit Down podcast to hear the full-length interview with Jim Gaffigan, including the acclaim he's receiving for his turn to more serious movie roles.
From clinical research to diagnosis to treatment, studies still show women are either underrepresented or treated differently than men.
Do you think we're at the very beginning of this call for change?
We have a long way to go. We know that sex matters, but we haven't taken all the steps needed to integrate it into our healthcare system.
Decent medical care is something everyone deserves. And so that is why I kept fighting.
About 9 months ago, Amanda Lee knew something was wrong. The 28-year-old had chronic digestive pain, and multiple trips to the emergency room yielded few answers and no relief. When she was finally able to see a gastroenterologist, she says he was openly dismissive of her concerns.
This GI doctor basically is interrupting me. And of course, I'm telling him all of my symptoms. At one point, he asks me, "Are you eating a lot of greasy foods?" And of course, me being the weight I was like, okay, I know where this is going.
Amanda says it got worse.
And I told him I'm not eating anything. And he said, maybe that's a blessing. And I said, I'm sorry. Did you just say that?
I've been struggling with abdominal cramping for months now.
In shock, she cried out for help on social media.
Am I not worth medical help because I am a woman or fat or all of these things?
Why did you turn to TikTok?
Because I felt so alone. I felt like, does anybody even want to hear this, young, chunky girl talk about how this doctor called her fat again?
Amanda's story went viral, and her followers pushed her to seek another opinion. In March, she was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer.
Why do you think gender bias is such a problem in healthcare?
I think it comes down to not being able to be listened to.
Dr. Patricia Scott says being dismissed can happen to any woman, especially if their symptoms are not commonly seen in younger women. She's an experienced high-risk obstetrician who suffered a stroke at the age of 45.
It was really hard for me to come to terms with that I felt let down, in a sense, by my own profession.
Dr. Scott says after the stroke, her vascular surgeon refused to consider her medical opinion.
I think something's really wrong, but they're telling me nothing's wrong.
She was finally diagnosed with a rare and dangerous neurological disorder that required 2 surgeries.
Women are often just not heard. What people hear is if you're crying, that you're hysterical or overwhelmed, instead of that maybe you're frustrated and scared. And so that women are discharged then and often go home and actually die from their diagnoses.
Dr. Cornelia Graves also treats high-risk pregnancies. She says the consequences of gender bias can sometimes be fatal.
Is this a system that's working for women?
I think in the end, this is not so much about doctors versus patients. Our healthcare system doesn't work well for most patients. It is complex, it is difficult to navigate. It definitely does not work for women, and it does not work for people of color.
What do you want other women to learn from your story?
If one woman wakes up tomorrow and hears my story and decides to find another doctor after a doctor had treated her poorly, then I have done my job.
Our experts say in order to be your own best advocate, remember 3 things. When you're having a medical problem, trust yourself first. And if you feel your physician isn't hearing you, ask for a second opinion. Next, make sure you go into an appointment with a list of questions and concerns. And last but not least, try to take someone with you to the doctor for another set of eyes and ears. And Amanda Lee says she has several more weeks of chemotherapy ahead of her, but she continues to have a positive attitude about her illness. Guys.
Wow, that was such a good story.
Really We're sure the best.
Really important. Great tips there, too, Erin. Has that ever happened to either of you?
Not that. No. I've had doctors I really didn't connect with, so I moved on, but never for a life-threatening illness.
Yeah, and I come from a family of doctors, so I'm spoiled with them being very attentive, but watching them and watching how there were times when my grandfather would make house calls, so then as an adult now, I know the difference. And so if I feel like I'm in good care, I know what to look for. So you have
to think that having somebody to go with you, because when I got a diagnosis, all of a sudden you blank out.
Right,
you're
can't
not
process
listening.
it all.
You need somebody else to be there.
Be your own advocate.
For breaking news in our changing world, Download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground.
Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
And welcome back. There's a new campaign launching on Instagram today. It's called #ShareTheMedicalMic.
It's all about amplifying the voices of Black women physicians. 40 of them are participating, hoping to bring more awareness to the healthcare obstacles Black women face as patients. And we're joined by two of them this morning. We have board-certified OBGYN and surgeon Dr. Jessica Shepard from Dallas, Texas, and Dr. Jennifer Lincoln, also a board-certified OBGYN who works in Portland, Oregon. Good morning to both of you guys. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Dr. Jessica, let me start with you. Tell us behind the campaign and how it works.
So the campaign was started by Dr. Renee Paro and also Dr. Lauren Powell. And the real impact here was to group 40 physicians of color and 40 physicians that are non-color, and grouping these 80 women together to really get the impact and the voice out there of Black women who are in medicine, so we can share our voice, our experiences, some of our struggles, and some of our triumphs.
Dr. Jessica, one of the primary healthcare topics that you plan to bring the attention of Jennifer Flowers is the maternal mortality in Black women. It's something I know in my circles we've been talking a lot about. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. When we think of systemic racism and how it's a public health concern, we see that transpiring into maternal mortality rates. And we know that 4 to 6 times likely that a Black woman is to die from maternal mortality. And so when we look at those statistics, they're completely staggering. And the issue really is, taking all socioeconomic status of Black women, is that really that there is a racial bias, and we have to address that when we think about racial inequalities and how it impacts mom and baby as well.
And Dr. Jennifer, so you're a white doctor working with a population in Portland that's, not as diverse as many cities across the country. However, you feel it's necessary to discuss these inequities in healthcare. So why is this important for you, and how did you get on board?
So as an obstetrician, I train to be ready for emergencies that are extremely rare, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, and I'm expected to know how to handle them. The same thing, even though I live in a city where there might not be as many Black women as in other cities, I still have to be ready to handle the racial disparities that come with their care. And I was invited into this campaign, and when I saw that Dr. Shepard was in on it, I said, please, ask her if she'll pair with me, because she is just, I look up to her so much, what she's done.
And Dr. Jessica, so, going into some of the details of specific conditions, you deal with a lot of women who suffer from fibroids. July happens to be Fibroid Awareness Month, but you say this is an area in particular where you've seen firsthand the disparities when it comes to treatment.
Absolutely. I have had numbers of women walk into my office who have been only offered an option of hysterectomy, when there are countless amounts of ways that we can deal with that medically and surgically. So to see, again, firsthand experience as a Black women physician, Black women coming into my office and really seeing that racial disparity in my face has allowed me to be even louder about talking about the oppression that we see in healthcare today, and using platforms such as this to allow women to see representation in myself, but also to get the word out there for all physicians that this is something that coming together we can all tackle and we can all do better.
You talk about, we begin by addressing a lot of racial bias, if you will, within the medical care system. So overall, how do we do better?
Probably one of the things that I love about this campaign is having action items and taking action that we can use, even from just today, is voicing our concern. One of the things that we've missed throughout decades now when we talk about racial injustices, no matter what area that we look at, is the ability to voice our concern, but also representation. So now as we're taking over IG accounts today and share the medical mic, we're allowing ourselves to be seen, we're allowing ourselves to be heard through the platform of others. But as we continue this in the future, we are hoping to see that we can be a face, we can be a voice of advocacy for our patients and representation in the future so that we can all share our voice and make sure that we are doing everything that we can to decrease the disparities in racism in healthcare.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here. A very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here. A very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
It has been a long year. Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like, really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for? Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
As a 911 operator, the stress that you have comes with the territory. You know what you signed up for. If something really bad happens, they offer crisis management. There's people available 24/7 if something happens. Yes, the job is very rewarding. I thrived at that job. I've enjoyed helping people. But the deep, dark side of it is very depressing and extremely stressful on a human. I was getting in trouble a lot about nothing. And basically my superiors labeled it as personality conflicts. And I was basically disciplined into going into therapy. That's how it initially started. And then I realized in talking to him that it may be helpful for me to seek out a professional to talk to in my daily life outside of work, because maybe this isn't just it that's wrong. Another reason why that I was in therapy is because of my partner is incarcerated. He's been incarcerated since 2017 about a DUI. So yeah, that's a big stressor on me because I have never been a single parent, and this is very difficult. Their dad is not here, and it's like a reminder every day that I have to talk to my kids about.
Growing up, therapy was not an option, wasn't even spoken about within my household. I didn't even know what a therapist literally did, besides what I saw on TV. which was go into a room, sit on the couch, close your eyes, and someone's going to talk to you. You know, as I got older and I was experiencing specific circumstances within my life, and my friends weren't, you know, the ear that I needed when my marriage wasn't on the same level. And I wanted to go with my wife as well, but she was kind of reluctant. And I said, okay, no problem. I'll just know I'll take that step on my own. When it comes to some common mental health issues that Black women face, it's a variety of things that fall on a spectrum. It's anxiety, it's depression, it's dealing with racial trauma, either from direct racism or subtle forms of racism that manifest through microaggressions. The reality is Black women and their mental health, it kind of looks the same amongst other people in different communities. However, the stigma and access to care might look different.
There is still a significant stigma related to mental health in the Black community. And so I think there are lots of misconceptions about why somebody would ever see a therapist. Lots of us have grown up in families where what goes on in your house stays in your house. So the idea of talking with someone, a complete stranger, about some very private and secret information is really just unheard of.
Therapy wasn't something that was discussed at all until I was an adult. And as far as the Black community and the awareness, we've just always been distrusting of non-traditional ways and things that we are not familiar with.
I actually didn't tell my mom I was going to therapy until maybe a year in. And when I did tell her, she was very upset. She said, why are you seeing a therapist? What do you need? Why are you going to therapy? And I actually brought this to my therapist, and she said, my mom may feel that she didn't do something right, raising me. The system isn't necessarily designed to help Black women in the first place. So when we think of cultural stigma, it's important to recognize that medicine and mental health was not created to heal Black people.
We know that sadly, even in the therapy office, sometimes people have been met with microaggressions or racist experiences, even from therapists who should know better. And so I thought that it was important to be able to broaden that conversation, for us to have a space to talk about all of the everyday things that we can do to take care of our mental health.
So although I knew I wanted to go to therapy, I didn't know where to start. And this is when I started listening to Therapy for Black Girls. I felt like a kid in a candy store, specifically because it was a podcast. So I was able to scroll through the episodes. I was able to see like everything that I was facing, my friends were facing, and just get different advice on it. And then I'm like, okay, should I take this plunge? I'm like, Naisha, this directory is here for you. Take it. I think it's really important for Black women to have their own space in their own community, because we all know what we experience. Unfortunately, there are other spaces where I kind of feel like I would have to mask my answer behind that, just, you know, to be respectful to myself and the space. But, you know, Black women, we understand each other on a different level.
So that is a part of the reason why the community surrounding Therapy for Black Girls is really the heart of everything that we do, because I know, even from my own training, that when you are able to recognize that, oh, I'm not alone in this struggle, or wow, other people feel this way, then it gives you permission to say, like, okay, I'm not alone in this thing.
Some other things that I see affecting Black women from getting help is just accessibility, being able to find a therapist in your local zip code. But then the other thing is being able to find a therapist who matches your racial identity. Studies show that when you work with someone who's culturally competent and you work with someone who matches your racial identity, clients tend to report feeling like they received higher levels of care, they received quality care, and nobody wants to go to therapy to have their feelings dismissed or to be gaslighted into believing that racism isn't an issue and that that's not impacting their lives. And on top of that, no client wants to have to go to therapy to educate their white therapist on racism, on how to be anti-racist, or on what systemic oppression is.
There are also different stereotypes, like the strong Black woman stereotype that exists in our community that makes some people feel like it's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to say that you're struggling, because we're expected to kind of be everything for everybody. And so having to admit to someone that I'm not okay or that I'm really struggling here can be really difficult for lots of Black women.
That was one of the first things that my therapist, she like threw out the window for me. Strong Black woman. And she's like, you know, it sounds like you have this control thing about having to, you know, be the strong Black woman. And she was like, you don't have to. She said, that is unrealistic. You have feelings. You are normal. You are okay. It's okay to not be able to handle everything. And it is unfair that a lot of Black women are raised and a lot of Black girls are raised that you have to be able to handle everything with a straight face.
This is how we end up with burnout. This is how we overextend ourselves, and then we're seeking support and we don't have no one available because we've set ourselves up to, again, be the strong person that carries everyone, and then we're like, well, who's carrying me? And so it's really important to just shift that perspective and that narrative as asking for help doesn't make me weak. Asking for help actually makes me wise.
You pay attention to your intuition. And so if something is telling you that it feels a little off or you feel not quite right, then that is something and a message that you need to pay attention to.
I think that's really key. Oftentimes when we're seeking change, we seek it externally without reflecting and looking inwardly. And I think there's a lot of power in taking inventory. There's nothing wrong with being strong. There's nothing wrong with you being who you are. It's about recognizing what are some things that I need in order to feel supported. What does it look like to sit in solitude and just be with yourself?
I think what I've gained from therapy and what I've learned has been reassurance. You know, you don't have to always get closure on things. Sometimes you don't always get an apology. So I think what I've gained mostly is that reassurance in who I am and being okay with my choices that I've made.
I know I want to be happier. I'm thankful that it's over a year and a half and I'm still going. So for me, I feel like with my grandparents and my mother, their anger is going to skip my generation. I'm going to therapy. I'm being vulnerable with myself and asking, okay, how can I improve? I do self-development exercises because I need to grow. And that's what I'm putting on to my daughter as well. When we do the work of healing ourselves, it kind of goes back to this idea of self-care, how self-care is community care. When we heal ourselves, we also heal our communities. And so it's the same thing with intergenerational trauma on an individual level. When we're able to recognize the unhealthy patterns that we've developed, when we're able to treat those addictions that we have, what we're also doing is creating safety for other people that we're engaging with.
It has been a long year.
Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for? Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
And the deaths kept coming and coming.
The fear was palpable.
I was terrified of passing on HIV to someone else.
But in the years that followed,
it was pretty miraculous for me.
So was the bravery.
Because of them, I can live a healthy and happy life.
We sat down with 4 gay men from 4 different generations, all living with HIV. The oldest is Jesse Myland, who's still haunted by the beginning of the epidemic.
people who, because they had been diagnosed, suddenly disappeared. And we all knew what that silence meant.
Jesse was diagnosed in the 80s after losing his partner, George, and so many others.
It was hard. It was very hard.
At the time, many leaders were accused of ignoring the crisis because it was deemed a gay disease. President Reagan didn't give his first major speech on AIDS until 1987, 6 years after the first diagnosed case.
We must have a definition of AIDS.
For Dr. Anthony Fauci, the epidemic was a turning point. In 1984, he became the nation's top infectious disease expert, the same job he holds today.
When there is resistance, was it hard to get the resources you needed?
Well, in the beginning, it was. I mean, we were trying to convince people that this was not something that was going to go away. This is something that was going to get worse and worse.
To raise awareness, the AIDS memorial quilt was unveiled on the National Mall.
Joe Fratini.
As organizers read the names of those who died. Some shared their stories publicly, including actor Rock Hudson, teen Ryan White, who tested positive after a blood transfusion, Real World star Pedro Zamora, and basketball legend Magic Johnson. In 1995, a combo therapy known as the AIDS cocktail was ushered in, followed by even better medications offering hope. But there was no cure for the stigma.
Right now, there are millions of people with HIV suffering from social rejection because they and other people believe that they're infectious, and they're not.
Diagnosed in 2003, Bruce Richmond says he was terrified of giving HIV to someone else.
So I didn't love. I isolated myself. I was depressed, and at times I was suicidal.
But then he learned medication could reduce his viral load to undetectable levels, meaning he couldn't transmit the virus. So Bruce started an advocacy group and coined the phrase U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable, a message endorsed by the CDC.
It gave me hope. It meant that I could be intimate. People with HIV can live healthy lives and not pass on the virus to anyone, and that's a revolution.
Today, about 38,000 Americans are still diagnosed each year. DeAndre Moore was 19. Remember staring at a window covered in butterfly stickers.
In that moment, all I could think was, damn, if I could be one of those butterflies and just fly away from here, then everything is going to be okay.
Raif Darazi had a similar reaction. He was 27.
So I knew next to nothing about what it meant to be diagnosed with HIV. It was a steep learning curve.
And what did you learn?
Well, I learned that I'm not going to die. I'm alive and well.
You think back to that moment with the butterfly, what would you tell yourself in that moment?
You're going to be okay. You're going to be just as beautiful.
Today, all 4 of these men are undetectable, and all are advocates, sharing their stories to educate the public and fight the stigma.
It's taken us 30 years of the AIDS crisis to teach the whole world that our lives and our loves are equal to everyone else.
It blows my mind just how far we've come, and then just what's possible now. So,
what is possible now?
My mind immediately says what isn't possible. That's the answer.
Another key breakthrough in recent years, PrEP. It's a daily pill that people who are HIV negative can take to prevent getting the disease. As for an HIV/AIDS vaccine, well, that has not happened yet. But Dr. Fauci tells me he is cautiously optimistic that someday we will have a vaccine that is successful. 26-year-old DeAndre Moore, who you saw there, hopes that he is someday going to be part of an AIDS-free generation. And we want to give a big thank you to 3 organizations that helped us with that story there: the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, AIDS United, and the Prevention Access Campaign.
It's incredible to see how far we've come in those decades. We all remember those scenes in the 80s, but there still is a stigma. Isn't that what you learned?
Yeah, there is. And it's actually kind of amazing, especially with young people, which is surprising. So a recent survey of HIV-negative millennials found that nearly a third of them say they avoid hugging, talking to, or or even being friends with someone with HIV. People living with HIV often report being hesitant still to openly share their status because they fear losing friends or family, or they even fear abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental.
Just reminds us of Billy Porter just last
that.
week,
Yep.
who just announced it.
What a big sign of bravery even now. It's needed now,
Right.
just as more than before.
And he waited 14 years, waited to tell his mother, so that stigma is still there.
Right.
Joe, thank you.
Good job.
In 1958, I started Randy's Record in Kingston, Jamaica, selling new and old records and producing records. And later on, my husband built a studio called Randy's Studio 17. And there we recorded like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown. After 20 years, my country was going under political unrest, so we decided to leave in 1977 and come to the United States. My name is Patricia Dorothy Chin. They call me Miss Pat, and I'm the co-founder for VP Records. Right now, you're going to do it the 1st of next month, you said? Mm-hmm. Coming to America was a very hard choice for us. When I left Jamaica, we took a whole trailer load of food together with our music. And when I came to get the things cleared, the custom officer said, "Mrs. Chin, why are you carrying so much food here? We don't have any famine here. We have enough food." I said, "But we don't have any money to buy the food because we're only allowed to take out $50 American. And my daughter was only 12 when I came, so I had to get a school for her. And my second son was 15. We had to get a school for him. And my other son, Chris, he was 17, so we had to get a college for him too. It was very tough, but we did survive. When my husband first came, and we were looking somewhere to live and to open a store, we went to Brooklyn, we went to Bronx, we went everywhere. He chose Jamaica, Queens because it's reminding of back home. And then we called the store V&P because my husband is Vincent and I was Patricia, so we just called it VP Records. Although my husband is not here with me, but I have my children and grandchildren working in the business with us. I have Chris, which is my first son. He takes care of the artists and the production, and Randy's the business side. And then I have my daughter that works in Florida, which is the warehouse where they ship all the goods all over the world.
I spent a lot of time at a young age at the record store. Working in the business, it just seems natural.
Sometimes when we leave our country, we don't take anything with us. So the music is a connection back to home. Music is the parallel to our heart. It's the beat that keeps going.
Thank you guys for participating. I think we have a good plan. It's 24/7 VP, and the line between business and family is certainly blurred in our case. And I think in a way it's great because you're constantly thinking about what's next, and talking to her or my dad about their experiences and what they've done and how they would handle certain situations has been a tremendous benefit.
Good to see you.
Right, good to see you. Yeah, good to be here. Had her and Mr. Chin not conceptualized VP, we might not know reggae music the way we know it.
Sure
we might
wouldn't.
not know who Sean Paul is.
Even beyond that, you won't even probably know who Jay-Z is.
Or the grandfather of hip hop, Kool Herc.
You hear about the butterfly effect? If just one little thing is out of place, it changed the whole scape of how we see the world. And so for us, Miss Pat is that one person that just really was that butterfly effect that affect not just reggae music, but hip hop, reggaeton, Afro beats. And I say Miss Pat because she was the vehicle.
They call me Neil Diamond Edwards. I'm the senior A&R VP. I basically scout talent, work with producers, and create albums and help to develop artists. Before streaming, digitals and MP3s, this was how you got your music. When I was growing up, and you wanted to buy music, you had to go to the record store. So this is the foundation of music, not just reggae, but of music.
The record store is important in the business because the customer would come in and buy the record, but not only buying it, they'd play the record to hear if they like it. It's not only buying the record, but the experience they gain from coming in the store. And that's why I have remodeled my store so that it will have that same feeling of a community service, an educational service, and to just be there to listen to a vinyl versus a CD, because there's so much of a difference in the music. It just reminds me of when I was back home in Jamaica where I started. The long counter, the woodwork, the tiles, the brick. It just brought me back a lot of memories. After 60 years, that's changed so much. And my husband foresaw it, and it came to pass. So thank you, Vincent, wherever you are, looking down. This is a dream come true.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to you and express my sincere appreciation for joining with the Council and VP Records for the launch of this exhibition entitled A Reggae Music Journey.
What inspires me about Miss Pat is, in a male-dominated business, very extremely strong. And I'm in awe at that. Bringing a business from Jamaica to America and being so consistent with it, that's living the American dream.
Even if she just met you, she'll give you her time. And that's something you can't get back. And so when we say Miss Pat, we say her name with love. And for us, we know the rest of the world don't know that. So this is why when we in public, we become her bodyguards. Like, no one touching this. Even if the wind blow too far, listen, we tall enough because she only like 4'11". Right. So we got her. The rest of the world don't know it yet, but she's a living legend.
So we're walking and we say, isn't it funny that people don't realize this is the mother of reggae music walking right by him?
From a very young age, again, she's always been working, juggling our time between work and caring for us, really.
She is our boss, first of all. When I step back and I look at all she's accomplished, being a woman, being in the music business, being in the reggae business, I'm in awe sometimes of her. She's certainly a very strong-willed person, and she doesn't mince words when she sees Chris and I sort of going off track. So, and that's a good thing. We really appreciate it.
In my travels, I went to Spain, I went to Mexico, I went to Cuba, I went to Alaska, and when I came off the ship, there was a little three-piece band below playing One Love, One Heart, and I felt so proud. I just felt so good. I didn't know the impact my music had on people until when I travel and see how much people like my music. We had a mission, and we just work every day with people around us. Good people are always coming to help us. It's a changing world, and I don't know what will happen in the future, but I hope music will still play a big part. Whatever format we go in, music will still be there.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes, this is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright. Are you ready? We're going to do our part to spread the word on the importance of vaccines, so crucial for reopening America.
A big day around here, a very special naturalization ceremony.
Many of them doctors, nurses, other essential workers.
If you are a nurse, thank you.
Spring has sprung, guys, and we want to fill this season with some fun and surprises.
Yes.
This is the face of excitement.
Celebrating Earth Day. Let's change the world. Love it!
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
My name is Alex Slinka. I'm 18 years old, and I'm an amateur bodybuilder as well as a full-time college student. If people ask me, I always say I'm not a transgender bodybuilder. I do not want to be labeled as a transgender bodybuilder. I'm a bodybuilder that happens to be trans. For me, being transgender is not something that should limit you or define you. Come on.
So tell me about your clients, Alex. I understand that you got another two yesterday, right?
So between a bunch of toys, at that point, she would have chosen a truck or a blue toy or blue clothes.
He never really was into playing with girls or dolls, and his friends were always boys.
I really started realizing there was something wrong when I started to feel societal expectations of being a female. And that made me very uncomfortable, the way people saw me and how I physically projected myself to the world. Not to be morbid, but it's like complete and utter disgust with yourself and your body, and you get anxiety like from other people seeing you a certain way. And I was like, you know what, like I can't do this anymore. I can't not talk about it anymore. I need to tell someone.
And he just basically told me that, Mom, I truly believe I am transgender. And at that time, I don't think I understood what that actually means.
And she admitted, she was like, I really don't know what you're saying, but you're my child and like I love you no matter what.
Can anyone succeed like performance level bodybuilding without a trainer?
Yeah.
He's been very open to us because we've been always open to him and we supported him in any circumstances. Therefore, he had no fear to talk to us. Other parents out there who are going through the similar situation, we highly advise them to continue loving and supporting their children no matter what. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just trying to manifest themselves as they feel they are inside.
After my surgery, I kind of just looked at myself in the mirror very objectively. I was like, you're very, very skinny. I look very weak, and like I don't want to look weak. I just wanted to be a little more fit and be more comfortable with myself. But for me, I've always had the personality like all or nothing. So like when I get into something, I really get into it.
I've done the hard work that's been done. It's just relaxing, practice posing, and you know, the show. And that's it. I mean, this has been a crazy experience. This is my mom. Say hi.
Hi.
It felt so amazing to get on stage and pose. Literally felt like the universe was telling me like, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it was just so empowering.
When the show host raised Alex's hand in the air, it was fantastic.
I'm sure there's people that think I should not be able to compete with the other men, but quite frankly, it's not really up to them. It's up to the people that make the shows, and they're very accepting. And I think the reason for it is because they understand where I come from. Most bodybuilders, especially the men, get into bodybuilding because of insecurity. They understand that I come from a place that I'm just trying to better my body, better my mind, and they respect that and they encourage that. It doesn't matter I'm trans or not. I had people DM me all the time saying that, you know, like, I didn't think I could look this way, but like seeing you has really made me realize I can. And for me, like, that literally makes me so emotional because I remember coming from a place where my biggest insecurity when I first transitioned was, that's great, I can transition, I can call myself a guy, but I will never ever look the way I want to look. If I could help like 1 or 2 people just feel better about themselves, that like makes me feel like everything I'm doing is worth it.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I can track this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
Our week-long journey begins here in Orlando, Louisville, Kentucky, Cleveland. Our Across America journey reporting on an America rebuilding and reimagining a future after the pandemic. Breaking news tonight, the ceasefire in the Middle East after 11 days of deadly violence. Richard Engel is on the ground. Do you think there's a connection between policing and racism? How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good morning. Welcome to Today. Future's looking bright.
Half of all U.S. adults now fully vaccinated.
Al is in Cleveland for our Reopening America series.
This is the greatest location in the nation.
Music is back.
Y'all were exactly what we needed.
You're not yet past your prime. You still have lots of time. Open up your mind. Leave the processed food behind. Working in a restaurant is very much a young man's game. I'm definitely an oddity, but I'm having a lot of fun defying preconceptions. And a lot of it is that I want to prove to myself that I can do it. Deciding to be a line cook at age 66 really is a stupid idea from all practical aspects, but so what? I'm Dr. Peter Glatz. I'm a retired dentist and a full-time line cook at None Such Restaurant in Oklahoma City. Before I started my career as a chef at None Such, I was a practicing dentist for 40 years. My favorite thing about being a dentist was the interpersonal relationships that I developed with my patients, and I've always enjoyed working with my hands, doing fine detailed work. When I was a freshman in college, I would borrow the key to the dormitory kitchenette and I'd begin making bread. People would walk by and stick their head in and see what was going on, and it was a way to meet people. And yes, that's how I met my late wife, Julianne. As fate would have it, I married a woman who loved cooking, who was very good at it, and so for most of my married life, I was the dishwasher and occasionally the salad maker. I was wanting to prepare myself for a career in the arts. I shared this information with my father, and his comment was, how do you think you're going to support a family as an artist, and you ought to go and do something like dentistry. I felt like dentistry used a lot of the same skill sets that I would utilize in art, and it was a more lucrative and stable job situation. Dental school was very, very hard for me. I had never faced failure before, and I wasn't about to then. Welcome to Birth of Us. This is my wandering, traveling tiny house and kitchen. I love the tiny house feeling. I have really everything I need to survive in a tiny, compact space. And I love being able to go to music festivals and cook for people. This has been a real labor of love. I originally bought a bus with a wheelchair lift to help me lift beer coolers into the bus, but it turned out to be a good move because then I could lower the lift and she could drive right up there, and it allowed us, in the last years of her life to be able to go on nice trips and pretty much go anywhere. That was taken freshman year in college, right at the time we got engaged. That's my wife Julianne, and I in her dorm room window. When I lost my wife and my children were all grown up and had their own families by this point, I was able to look at myself and say, I don't need to do this anymore. I had so many ideas and so many wishes and goals, and I put them on hold to raise a family. I'd look back at the dreams that I walked away from and struggle with resentment. But I realized that it wasn't too late. There was still time. I've always enjoyed fine dining. I read about Chef Elena Regan, who had a Michelin-starred restaurant in Chicago, the Elizabeth Restaurant. I loved it. I would return every 3 to 6 months and spend another 2 to 4 days with her. We became good friends. I fell in love with the restaurant environment. Problem was, it's physically demanding. You're on your feet 12, 14-hour shifts. And at that particular time in my life, I was overweight and suffering from a hip that needed a replacement and back problems. Then I became involved with a CrossFit group and a trainer who focused on older individuals. As I grew stronger and healthier, I realized that I think I can do this. In all these places, I just found my happy place. And that's what made me feel like I want this to be more than a hobby. I want this to be my life. I've known Anne for quite a while. Anne was, before becoming my wife, was a family friend. Then I'll get to working on prepping some vegetables, and we'll put together a rice salad. We'll use either black rice or red cargo rice.
Okay. My husband Peter is an amazing man. He's creative and he's very focused, and he's just he's a wonderful partner.
Our original plan was to travel in the bus and support ourselves by doing pop-up cooking events. When I saw on Instagram that a restaurant that I was so impressed by, Nonsuch, was hiring a line cook, I sent in my resume. It was 7 pages of dental stuff and a half a page of cooking experience, and much to my shock, they offered me the job.
I knew that it was an important career move for him and that it would help make him a better chef. And I completely supported that, and I wanted him to be able to do that because I know that in our ventures later that all it will do will make things better.
It's a really wonderful thing to have that kind of support. I think she's enjoying the crazy little ride that we're on.
I think Peter's story is very brave, It's like something I think a lot of people his age think about and no one tries, so it's pretty cool.
He definitely brought something to this restaurant, to our kitchen, that we were lacking.
and that we didn't know that we needed. It's just a bunch of mostly young kids in here, you know, myself included, and so it's very refreshing and humbling to have him here and kind of just like remind us, you know, what life is really about.
What I want people to take away from my story is that one doesn't have to resign himself to living a life that you aren't fulfilled living.
I want to thank you all so much for being here. As you know, cooking is my passion, so I'm so glad to share this with you. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
If you create a vision of what you want your life to be, and then do the work to help you get there, it can be achieved.
It has been a long year.
Yeah, where it's been anything but normal.
Well, now there's hope. The COVID vaccines.
I know. It's been a little confusing.
Like really confusing.
So it's more important than ever to make a plan. Visit planyourvaccine.com
to find out where and when to get your vaccine.
What are you waiting for?
Roll up your sleeves and plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
Plan your vaccine.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
I'm rolling up my sleeves for science, so I'll survive if I contract this virus. For family dinners, family vacations, family anything. For traveling somewhere beyond my living room. And for the Rebels, there is no greater feeling than being in the stadium and cheering on Ole Miss. And now it's your turn. Roll up your sleeves, America. Plan your vaccine, because every shot counts. Visit planyourvaccine.com and make your plan.
Our Across America journey here in Louisville, Kentucky. Cleveland, reporting on an America rebuilding after the pandemic. How narrow a window do you have to really get kids back where we would want them to be?
NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
One of the things that I think that people don't understand about women and women's bodies is that they're all different. They're all different. Holt & Co. is Chicago's first and only luxury bridal boutique that styles exclusively curvy women, sizes 14 to 32. She was being discouraged from booking appointments or even going into bridal boutiques because she was a size 26. Some bridal boutiques would say things like, we don't even know designers that go up to that size, or you have time before your wedding to lose some of that weight, or there's nothing we could do for you. I mean, she was truly, truly discouraged. So I felt like I can solve this problem.
Thank you for calling us.
The hardest part of opening my shop was really the negotiations and conversations with designers, because we met with a number of designers and they were resistant. I mean, you had designers saying things to me like, oh, do they get married? Yeah, you're the one that wants to work with the big girls. We really don't design it to that size. So there was a lot of body shaming and there was a lot of resistance. So what it is that when you get your alterations, you really want to make... It's important that curvy and plus size brides have a sacred space that they can go to and find their perfect wedding gown. Soft layers, and it's actually not ivory. The reality is, whether a bride is a size 2 or size 22, she has the same fears, not finding the perfect gown. And when you are 22 or larger, then you have the additional layer of people telling you they have nothing for you. Okay, I'm gonna give you an oh my God.
You know what she likes is she asks for the bill.
Yes, exactly. What I would love wedding gown designers to do is rethink their current sizing policies. If you do not go past a size 20 in bridal, If you can't go to a 32, try to go to a 28. Just want you to rethink the number of women who you are excluding from your beautiful designs, and the number of women who you will never have the opportunity to look across and say, that's our design, and she looks beautiful.
I'm so happy.
Look, our friends out there in Today All Day land, I hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. This is Today in 30.
Yeah, you know how we do it. It's our special blend of all the things that you love across all 4 hours of our show.